Students, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get out of that seat and stomp
In
those
5.
feet. It's time to make some noise for your boys.
Looking live atop Big Red Stadium down on Chippewa Valley's field as the Big Reds get ready to play host to the Romeo Bulldogs for a MAC Red Championship right here on MacombPreps.com. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome into our Week 8 Game of the Week broadcast live on MacombPreps.com. I'm Jerry Mack. It's great to be with you alongside Kent Fiat for one of the most premier matchups in the state of Michigan tonight on a MAC Red title tilt. The Chippewa Valley Big Reds getting ready to play host to the Romeo Bulldogs. Both teams onto the field. This one is set to be a game-breaking buster. We welcome in Kent to the broadcast. Kent, what's going on, man? Good to be with you.
Oh, come on, Mac. Are you kidding me? I've been so excited since being in the booth with you last Friday. I couldn't wait till tonight to come out here to Chippewa Valley and check out these two teams, man. What a big game we got in store here.
This is unbelievable. So, Kent, bring us in and talk about these two teams and what you know about them. Chippewa Valley, Romeo, two powerhouses. Let's look at Chippewa Valley real quick.
I mean, just the overall tradition of both these programs, Mac, to be honest with you. I mean, both of these teams, when you look at it, they both won Division I titles in the last 5 years. Crazy enough, right? Romeo's made the state playoffs 15 years in a row. Ready for this? Chippewa Valley has won 21 straight games and is 31-2 since 2017. That's playing in the MAC Red division. And they're not scheduling, small teams outside of that either. Just really remarkable programs that represent the MAC Red greatly.
So two premier programs, as Kent just broke it down for us. Both teams very familiar with winning, not just in the MAC Red, but like you had mentioned, within the MHSAA playoffs. Not just a title game tonight, but also jockeying position for playoff seeding and points right now as we bring this regular season down to an end. Just talk a little bit about these two teams as well going in, playoff matchups and what it means.
Yeah, I mean, I did the research on Macomb Preps. Great site you got over there, man. I mean, we had all the preseason media day information, and Romeo, according to his coach, roster's talented from top to bottom. One of the more active and great rosters they've had in a while. Ton of depth on this team. One of the things he alluded to is they have the most multi-sport athletes on this football team than they've had in the past, and that's big when you get kids playing other sports, because when they come in, what you do in basketball can transfer what you do in football, and so on and so forth. They returned their entire offensive line. Defense returned 5 players. Quarterback Brett Miller is one of the best leaders they've had, and just a great team overall.
So as we take a quick break for ceremonial purposes down on the field. Coin toss taking place right now. Chippewa Valley wins the toss and elects to defer to the second half, so Romeo will take the ball. They'll be moving north to south on our broadcast. Romeo coming out in the all-white jerseys. Chippewa Valley wearing their special purple uniforms tonight as we take a quick pause as our studio broadcast and send things down to the field as we honor the playing of our national anthem performed by the Chippewa Valley Marching Band.
Led by the Chippewa Valley Seniority.
Oh, say, can you see what the dawn's early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave
we welcome you back up to the broadcast studio, and as you can hear from ground level, this place is absolutely rocking. Romeo's student section looking absolutely fabulous from way atop here. Chippewa Valley's filling out nicely. The marching bands are here. Again, welcome into this Week 8 broadcast between the Chippewa Valley Big Reds and the Romeo Bulldogs. As we get ready to get underway, can't we take a look at the Romeo Bulldog offense here as they'll be receiving the ball for the first half?
Yeah, I mean, Romeo, what they want to do, they want to line up, but they're going to line up, a ton of unbalanced sets, lots of motion, jet motion specifically, for the most part, and they're going to try to, deceive you with motion and counters. And when they do decide to throw, a lot of times it's going to be off of those play actions, and it's going to be looking to go deep.
And on the other side of things, Chippewa Valley, very balanced team. Go ahead and talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, they do it all. They're very, like you said, they mentioned, very balanced. I mean, they rarely ever line up under center. They're a shotgun team. They'll come at you 4 wide. They've got 4 wide receivers, really, when they go in that set that can all make plays. All great hands, all good speed. Just great athletes. They also have a wildcat package to get their running game going.
And obviously we speak very highly of these two offenses, but in the long run what it's going to come down to is defense on the both sides, in my opinion, and who's going to be able to stop who. Romeo, they pride themselves on a big defense. They're fast, they're aggressive, they're extremely disciplined, and they have the ability to shut down the run against teams that are quick and trying to get to the outside, which is key in tonight's matchup as well.
Yeah, you mentioned it'll be just who wins that battle from. Chippewa Valley's got a great running game. They're going to look to use that offensive line, that big, strong offensive line that returned 3 starters from last year's state championship team, and they're going to look to run it down your throat and then beat you with the pass every now and then.
So we are set to kick off once again. Chippewa Valley will kick the ball off to start the game. Kicking off for the Big Reds, number 46, Jacob Mudd, as he sends that one deep. Going to be received back at the goal line and brought out by the Bulldogs. There's a seam, and we've got an opportunity for a big return. And last one to beat, brought down at the 34-yard line on that return, number 21 for the Bulldogs. That is Nino Braza.
Nino Braza on the return.
So the junior speedster takes that ball out, brings it to the left side and finds some day, and brings it all the way out to the 35-yard line. A great start by Romeo, exactly what the doctor ordered up for them.
I couldn't have asked to start the game better. I mean, great special teams return, give you some good field position out here at the 35-yard line.
Romeo quickly breaks that huddle with an unbalanced line, looking at 2 tight ends and 2 wings with the single back. Shallow behind the quarterback. Jet motion to the right. Give on that jet motion to number 5, Ryan Zapsky. Ryan Zapsky's got an opportunity. Breaks across midfield all the way down to the Chippewa Valley 40-yard line, and a big, big pickup for the Bulldogs on the opening play of this drive.
That's what Romeo wants to do. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to establish the run, and when they can break runs like that, it's going to be tough for Chippewa Valley, but, it's first play of the game, long game to go.
First down, Bulldogs.
So that'll be a first down and 10 for the Bulldogs on the Big Red 46-yard line. Ball set on the right hash. Romeo quickly breaks that huddle, sends a wide receiver out to the top side, short set, single back, double wing situation, jet sweep to the right, give up the middle. Straight ahead is the fullback. Good for 6 or 7 yards on that play. That is number 34, Brian St. Clair. So Romeo showing a little bit of speed on that first play and a little bit of power coming back on the second one.
Yeah, like we mentioned in the pregame, they do the jet motion. They go ahead. They're gonna deceive you, make it look like that guy's getting the ball that's in motion, and they hand it up the middle to the fullback. 6, 7, 8 yards right there a pop.
So a second down and a long 3 situation now for the Bulldogs. Same formation this time, 2 in the backfield, as the Bulldogs are gonna flip their formation. Give up the middle once again. That is St. Clair, this time bottled up just after the line of scrimmage. Looks like he picked up about 2 yards on that pickup, Ken.
Yeah, number 52, Tyler Wells on the tackle there. And what they do when they do that motion, they flip that. They're going to put some people that start off on the right, move them over to the left. That's to get the defense confused. That's to see what formations they're in, and it works.
Third down and short for the Bulldogs in their opening drive. A lot of formation shifts from the Bulldogs throughout the season. Continue to see it. Give once again to St. Clair, off tackle this time, as St. Clair powers his way ahead for a first down after a pickup of around 3 yards down to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, like 5 plays into the game, Mac. They haven't thrown a pass yet. They see something that's there, and they're going to keep running the ball until you stop them.
Romeo definitely coming out and trying to make a statement and play physical on this opening drive, and that's exactly what you need to do to beat a team like Chippewa.
Yeah, you listen to Romeo's coach. I mean, they had 6 returning. He said eight linemen could start, and he had the whole returning 5 offensive linemen from last year return as well, so that's a big strength for them up front.
Shotgun formation this time. Miller gives to St. Clair. Check that play action. Looking over the middle. That pass is tipped, almost picked off, but makes its way into the hands of number 15, Ty Mesner. And that's going to be a big first down on a pass that looked like it could have been picked off. And instead, it's a first down in the red zone for Romeo.
Yeah, they threw their first pass of the game off that play action. Came across, had a receiver dragging across the middle. Ball was thrown a little bit high, tipped in the air, and instead of being an interception, they were able to take that reception down and gain about 20 yards.
Braza split wide for the Bulldogs. Miller under center this time.
Yeah, I think Chippewa Valley jumped there on defense.
Indeed, that's going to be the call, a neutral zone infraction.
It's number 21, Antoine Gunther, I believe.
Offsides indicated by the near sideline judge.
So a 5-yard penalty will get marched off against the Big Reds, and that'll set up a first down and 5 situation now for the Bulldogs. Ball spotted on the Chippewa Valley 9-yard line. Zapska, St. Clair in the backfield.
There they go with the motion. They're to the right.
Formation switch.
Formation shift.
They're going to give to Zapska along the right
touchdown.
side. Off tackle as Zapska walks his way into the end zone untouched from 9 yards out. And the Romeo Bulldogs score a touchdown on their opening drive of this game. Up 6-0 with 8 minutes and 32 seconds to go here in this first quarter.
Romeo couldn't have drawn. I guarantee you they didn't draw that up any different coming into the game. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They ran the ball the whole drive, about 4, 5, 6 yards a pop, snuck one of those passes in there, and put 6 on the board on the first drive.
Into the extra point for the Bulldogs, number 23, John Jersevic. Kick is up and good.
The point after attempt is good.
That'll make it a 7-0 lead for the Bulldogs early on in this first quarter.
Now it's big. This is a big drive for Chippewa Valley. Obviously, it's the first quarter. It's the first drive of the game. But when you're at home and the opposing team comes in, puts a drive together like that, basically runs the ball down your throat pretty easily, you got to come back and respond with at least a couple first downs. Allow your defense to get some rest, regroup, recoup there on the sidelines.
Definitely an opportunity for Chippewa Valley to come out here and return the statement that Romeo just came out and made.
But Chippewa Valley, they're going to do similar things to Romeo. I mean, they've got the running back Myron Harris, who's an absolute beast. I got a chance to watch some of his game against Dakota, and he's just a combination of power, agility, quickness. 210, 215-pound running back. We'll probably see a heavy dose of him on this possession here.
Harris also deep set to receive this kick from Jeresovic. Squid kick down the middle. That's going to bounce its way down and picked up around the 15-yard line by Harris. Harris with a great move.
On the receiving end, number 8.
Made his first defender miss and finally brought down there around the 28-yard line where Chippewa Valley will open their first drive of tonight.
It's not just Myron Harris that I mentioned, the running back at Chip. They really can do it all. I mean, they got guys, receivers, Q Housey, Corey Anderson, Miles Harris. Some of these guys out there on the on the outside as receivers can really make big plays, and Kolka can get them the ball. So they're going to line up in shotgun here. That's what they do pretty much every play. And here we go.
Shotgun formation indeed, too wide to the top side for the Big Reds. Kolka barking out the signals. He's going to look to his left side. Quickly gets it out on the slant, but bottled up by a couple of Bulldogs. And I tell you what, you can hear the intensity coming from the other sideline. These Bulldogs are fired up for tonight's game. They know what's at stake. They know how big of a win this can be to knock off a Chippewa Valley team that hasn't lost in 21 games.
Yeah, that's remarkable, really. I mean, 21 straight games in in the MAC Red and in this tough division is something to be proud of, and Romeo's here to put that to an end.
Forward progress ruled. 5-yard pickup on that last play. That'll set up a 2nd and 5 situation. Kolka gets the snap, give to Harris up the middle. Harris looks like he got about 2 or 3 yards before he was finally tripped up there by number 14 for the Bulldogs. That's senior linebacker Logan Iafredi.
Going back to that first play to open this drive, that little slant pass, it wasn't much, but I like that. I like getting your quarterback in rhythm, make him complete a pass here when he opens the game up.
Shotgun single back, Harris set to the left side of Kolka. Kolka gives his peek to the sideline.
Chip runs some no huddle here, They look to the sidelines, see what defense that they're in. Quarterback's going to get the play signaled in from the sidelines, and they like to keep a little up-tempo.
Kolka looking to his left side. He's got his receiver open, pass complete. That looks like number 19, Zach Hernat.
Well executed on the receiving end of Kolka's
that's great. One of my favorite routes there. Basically, we called it a comeback when I played, but have the receiver out there run it hard like he's running a streak down the sideline, come to a quick stop, have the ball right there when he turns around. Usually, easy 10, 12-yard gain.
Great pickup, spun to the outside, got that extra yardage, good for a first down. Chippewa now out to midfield, 1st and 10 on their own 47-yard line. Give to Harris up the middle. He's got a seam, breaks out to the left side, 40, 35, 30. Got a man to beat, powers his way through the defensive backfield, still going. Look at the highlight. Myron Harris, my Lord, gonna take it all the way to the end zone. My goodness, a 53-yard scamper for Harris. A physical run, and that's going to answer the question that everybody was wanting to answer. And folks, we got a ball game just like that. Chippewa Valley on the board.
I'm not making this up, but that was one of the best runs I've seen ever. I mean, he broke about 4 or 5 tackles, cut to the outside right off the initial run when he broke through the D-line, and then he just took it right to the house. That was fantastic.
Showed you speed, showed you agility, showed you power, and at the very, very, very end, Myron Harris shows you the ability to finish. That kick was up and good. We got a tied ball game here with 6 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the first quarter at 7 points apiece.
That's the way to answer the drive, right? That's what we said they had to do.
Absolutely, and in a big way. Again, a 67-yard run that just absolutely offered everything. And we're sitting here waiting, and you knew he had a chance to beat it. And then he breaks that last tackle. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I have no horse in this race, and the run was so exciting. I bumped into Bob here. I think I might have messed some of the camera work up. So my fault. If there's some bad motion on that cam work, that's my fault. But that's because of Myron Harris's run there.
So we can take this opportunity to let you know that, yes, we have this live stream coming at you, but we will offer this full game in its entirety on our YouTube page. Go and find us, Mac Preps, on YouTube. And, of course, we'll have highlights following tonight's game on both Twitter and Facebook.
Go check it out just to see that run. I'm telling you, that was one of the better runs I've seen in a long time.
Little trickery here, special teams. Pooch kick down the right side. Better hurry up and get on it. Romeo finally covers that ball. A late flag's going to come out. We'll have to see what that is, possibly a late hit. But Chippewa Valley trying to use a little bit of special teams to catch the Bulldogs off guard. And the Bulldogs, unsurprisingly, didn't seem too surprised.
No, they weren't. I don't mind the call, but it just didn't work out. I'll tell you what, not here to rag on the officials, but if that was a late hit, I don't really like that call. He was just going down there trying to recover a fumble and landed on him. So hopefully that's not what they call here.
Official ruling indeed is a personal foul, late hit on the Big Red, so that's going to tack on 15 yards from where the Bulldogs covered up that kickoff.
If I'm a coach, those are the personal fouls that I can somewhat live with. A little maybe over aggressive. The ones you don't want to see are the trash talk and the verbalizing, that kind of stuff. If I was Coach Merchant, I wouldn't be too upset with that play there at all.
Tonight's game brought to you by D&H Window Cleaning, residential and commercial, servicing Macomb County and its surrounding area. Locally owned, the Young family is celebrating 50 years of business, and it's in its 3rd generation of family ownership. Give them a call, 586-726-2340, and head on over to dhwindowcleaning.com for more information.
Senior Jacob Tillman there on Chippewa Valley, the nose guard, jumped off sides there. I think that'll be 5 yards for Romeo here.
So the offense obviously came out and answered the bell. The defense still looking a little bit shaky, nervous, excited. probably can throw all those terms on it, but 2 early penalties on the defensive line, jumping the snap early, really.
Yeah, they're trying to get off to a good start because those linemen on Romeo can really put you down if you don't get off the ball.
Give to St. Clair up the middle. Check that. That was the jet sweep. Chapsky around the right side.
See, like I told you,
pick up of around 12 yards.
The deception that Romeo plays with in the backfield, it's tricked us a few times. So I can't imagine what it's doing to somebody, on the field on defense with that field view. They're very good at that.
I know we're way up top, but it looked like Chapsky had actually passed Miller on that jet sweep, and that ball still ended up in his hand.
Yeah, they're good at that, man. They really do make it tough for you to know who has the football.
So a 1st down and 10 situation for the Bulldogs. Once again in Chippewa Valley territory, the ball spotted on the Big Red 42-yard line. This time 3 backs, power I formation, as the 2 up backs will split to wings, single back St. Clair in the backfield. Jet motion is Chapsky. Give to St. Clair up the middle, quickly bottled up by that Chippewa Valley defensive line, and that is probably the stop that the Big Reds have been waiting for to get settled into this ball game.
That's the key stop right there. And this kind of, when you're going against this kind of offense, that's the play you've got to be able to stop, the fullback dive. If you can stop that, then you can kind of contain some other stuff. But, if you can't stop the fullback dive, you're going to turn for a long day.
So a 2nd down and 9 situation. Bulldogs quickly break that huddle. Ball spotted in the middle of the field once again. Romeo moving right to left on this audio broadcast. Formation shift by the Bulldogs. Unbalanced backfield toss to Chapsky on the right side. Chapsky following his blockers finally stood up there. Great tackle, driven backwards. But after his forward progress, a pickup of around 7.5 yards, and that'll bring up about a 3rd down and long 2 situation for the Bulldogs, as that ball will be spotted on the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Ricky Odom of Chippewa Valley really came up and made a nice tackle. It looked like he had a lot of blockers in front of him, and he could have turned that into a bigger play, but huge tackle by Odom.
Well, that's one thing Romeo does well. They have the ability to get bodies on bodies and follow those blockers. They've made a living out of it.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mac. Big play here.
3rd down and 2 situation. You hear these stands start to get wild. Chapsky on the wing to the left side. They're going to give to number 19 around the left side on the counter give. That's number 19, Brett Miller. That's the quarterback.
Another big hit by Chippewa Valley, but unfortunately for them, it was about 7 yards downfield and another 1st down for Romeo. The offensive line of Romeo just opening up huge holes. They're really not getting, Chippewa Valley, aside from that stop on the fullback dive, really isn't getting any contact until the running back's about 4 or 5 yards deep.
1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Double tight end formation. Fake to St. Clair up the middle. Give to Chapsky around the end. He's going to work his way up those numbers and push forward for about a 7-yard pickup. 6 yards on the official spot. So once again, Romeo playing physical football, forcing their will and able to pick up chunks at a time with their running game right now.
Yeah, I mean, if these 2 drives between these 2 teams, 3 drives now with this one, are any indication of the kind of football game we're going to see, it's going to be a high-scoring one, that's for sure. Because both defenses are having a tough time, and to be honest, it's because both offenses are pretty good. Looks like we got a penalty here, though, Mac.
Holding call was the call on the play.
So that's big. That's big for Chippewa Valley, because when you get Romeo behind the sticks, they have to start thinking about possibly throwing the football, and the play actions don't work as much when it's 3rd down and 13.
So the ball has been spotted at the 37-yard line. That'll bring up a 1st down and 20 situation now. So, as you mentioned, we'll see what the Bulldogs will do in this situation.
I mean, I'd expect a run here just to get some of the yardage back, but we'll see how Coach wants to play it.
2 in the backfield. Give to St. Clair. Check that.
On the carry, number 18. Fabrizio Rossetti.
Now, what you want to do is look for, this is 2nd down and long. This is the time that I'm going to do 1 of 2 things as a coach. Probably try to get a screen pass or a draw and set up, a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8. Try to get it back to reasonable 3rd down.
unbalanced formation, and here comes that formation shift by the Bulldogs. Ball spotted just inside the 35-yard line, second down and long. Give to number 33 for the Bulldogs. Nothing doing. Back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, on that second down to run that, now what you're doing, it looks like, is you're really kind of conceding this drive, and you're going to try to not make any mistakes and punt them deep, make them go a long way. The run there, you could try to break it, but you set yourself up for a 3rd and 14. That's obviously a tough yardage to gain there on 3rd down.
So wearing the number 33 jersey for the Bulldogs, that is Casey Harrison.
Good play action pass here. Oh, wow. A little Statue of Liberty play.
Plenty of room.
Holy cow.
That's number 34.
Fumble.
Brian St. Clair on the carry. Plenty of room down to the 20-yard line. Able to pick up that fumble that he dropped.
Well designed and well executed.
That was a very, very creative play there. It looked like the quarterback was rolling right to throw off that play action, and then he kind of handed it back on a counter to the back. Was able to gain, 13, 14 yards and bring up only a 4th and 2, and it looks like they're going to go for it here. So based off what they've been able to do running the football, this should be a tough stop for Chippewa to make.
Definitely a big pickup, and again, setting up that 4th down and short situation. Something that's impressed me is we've been trying to keep track of the amount of people and the numbers coming into this game for the numbers that Romeo does have. They've got a lot of talent and a lot of depth and a lot of skill.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning of it, I mean, they said this is their deepest team. They substitute a lot of people in, and a lot of people are getting some experience,
Miller under center. We're going to get a timeout called.
Delay a game. Yeah, delay a game, actually.
Delay a game, so that's going to hurt.
That really hurts.
Bulldogs unable to get a timeout. As you see Coach Renas down there trying to make his case that he was getting that timeout called, but the flag came out before then. They'll march off a 5-yard penalty, set up a 4th and 7.
In high school football, if you get a delay a game, you really pretty much, I don't know if you got the timeout, but you really pretty much deserved it because the ref's holding it back there, and they're usually going to give you the benefit of the doubt unless it's taking a ton of time for you to get that play off.
So we're still waiting the official ruling. One referee looks like he is ready to march that 5-yard penalty off, as the other referee was making a case about that timeout, but indeed they do decide to march off that 5-yard penalty. So that's going to set up a 4th down and 7 situation. We are in the final minute play of this first quarter in our Week 8 Game of the Week here on MacombPreps.com. And Kent, we've had a good one so far.
Yeah, Chippewa Valley's getting the crowd pumped up. You see the defenders are getting excited. This is a big play. 4th and 7. I don't think Romeo's going to kick a field goal. It looks like they're going to go for it. And this is a big stop for the Big Reds if they can make it. I would say to expect a pass here, but, I mean, they've been running the ball so good, you never know.
So now we are going to get that timeout called by the Bulldogs. That's their first called timeout.
Could be contemplating a field goal here. I don't know what kind of kicker, what kind of leg the kicker has, but where they're at right now, what are they on the 20?
Ball spotted on the 23-yard line, so that
about a 40-yarder.
Make it about a 40-yard line with the breeze heading in his face.
If I had to guess, I'd say they'll go for it, but you never know.
Looking at the flagpole now, I can tell you, being up on top of the stadium, we can feel the wind breezing through this press box. You look over at that flagpole, and there's nothing moving.
Yeah. Man, we are up here high. Trying to climb up that ladder just to get up here made me realize how out of shape I really am, Mac. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down after this game, to be honest with you.
We'll send Bob down before you. He'll catch you.
Well, I knocked Bob over. He fell over the thing when Harris made a big run. That's why the camera's all jacked up.
Romeo returns to the field. 4th down and 7 situation. 25 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 7-7 ball game.
Looks like they're going to go for it.
This is only the second drive Romeo's had. Chippewa Valley's only had the ball once.
They're running the ball. Clock moves.
Shotgun formation. Miller
blitz off the end.
Looks to the left side.
Oh, don't throw the flag.
Overthrows his receiver.
That's uncatchable. It's uncatchable. That was pass interference if that ball was catchable, but what I love there that is Chippewa Valley brought a good rush off the edge. A quarterback didn't see it, and he sailed one. There was contact, but I'm the kind of guy in that situation, you let that go because that's just wasn't a catchable ball.
Making a play on the ball as well. So the Chippewa Valley defense holds. They will take over on downs, 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line.
What stalled that, in your opinion? What stalled? I mean,
the penalty. Absolutely.
I mean, that kills you, right?
They had one penalty, push them back for 1st and 20. They had that third down play was absolutely beautiful to pick up a whole bunch of that yardage back, but another penalty pushed them back. If they didn't have any of those penalties, they'd be down inside the 10-yard line.
They were getting 4, 5, 6 yards a pop, right?
Kolka.
Yeah, breaking tackles like
quickly
crazy.
out to Daryl Hawkins. Hawkins breaks that first level defender, picks up 7 yards on the play out to the 30-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd and 3 situation for the Big Reds.
The problem with Romeo's defense so far isn't not being in the right position. It's not wrapping up, and that's something that will drive the coach crazy over there. When you're there, you're put in the right spot to succeed, and you just don't wrap up. Now, granted, Myron Harris is a heck of a runner, but
I was going to say, when you're lining up against a 210-pound stud and receivers with some thickness on the outside, sometimes you just got to say, hey, what can you do, and get back and get them the next time.
Yeah, absolutely. The long run was one where you can't really blame anything, but that play,
that's off to Harris on that run. That was absolutely impressive.
And that defensive back there had a free shot at that receiver. That's where you got to kind of go low, and you got to make sure you knock that guy down. He can't gain 6, 7 yards on that play.
So the first quarter comes to an end here at Big Red Stadium, and what a ball game it has been. 7-7 here at the end of the first. Chippewa Valley will have the ball. This is their second possession. We take this opportunity to remind everybody that Macomb Preps is actively seeking sponsors and more advertisers to help support the fastest growing high school sports outlet in the area. If you're a local business owner, operator in or around the Macomb County area and looking to get your name out to thousands of Mac Prep followers, go ahead and give us a call, 586-567-2327, or email us macpreps@gmail.com. Second quarter getting ready to get underway here at Big Red Stadium. Chippewa Valley with the ball once again. Jerry Mack on the call alongside Kent Fiat. Trey Mack in the camera booth for us here at Macomb Preps. Kolka give to Harris up the middle, quickly bottled up by that Romeo defense. Harris still going though. My goodness, they had him contained in the backfield, wrapped up, and he spun out of it. And it takes 2 or 3 more guys just to bring the young man down.
Yeah, he's very impressive so far today. Just the way that he can bounce off tackles. I mean, it takes 3, 4 guys just to take him down.
Correction, Myron Harris.
So no gain on the play. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 6.
Watch him try to get Q Housey going. He's a receiver that shined very well against Dakota, made some great catches and some great plays. He's a very, very good athlete there on the outside.
Movement up front.
I didn't think it looked like they were going to throw the flag there, and it was such a blatant offside, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were waiting for it, and definitely wasn't an opportunity to reset. Too many Big Reds jumping the gun on that one. Late flag, that'll be a 5-yard penalty. So a key penalty now on the Big Reds. Just after we got done talking about the penalty situation for the Bulldogs, you're looking at a 3rd down and 6 situation. Now you're looking at a 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, it looks like, well, I don't know, it looks like they're switching up the trips here, but when they went, 4 wide there, I saw that looks like they're getting back into it. I saw them do that play against Dakota. Look for a little slant or a skinny post from the 2 receivers here on the inside.
Harris, Housey, and Hawkins split wide for the Big Reds. Kolka, shotgun snap, looking over the middle, lets it go deep for Harris, just over the fingertips of, check that, Quellen Housey.
Pass intended for number 8.
I think they call him Q. I heard that on the other broadcast, so we'll go with Q. Make it a little bit easier. Q Housey there.
Q.
Yeah, but that was a great. It was a little overthrown, but it was a good throw. It's what you call a window shot, where you try to make that ball throw in between the defensive back and the cover 2 safety coming over top. He was able to beat the safety over top just a little bit too far for the receiver to catch.
So a 4th down and 11 punt situation for the Big Reds. Back deep for the Bulldogs, Nino Braza. He stands at his own 37-yard line. Pressure brought by the Bulldogs. Short kick. Bounces just inside the 50-yard
hit a Romeo guy.
Bounces off.
Hit Romeo's player, and I think Chip recovered.
Looks like Chippewa Valley's going to jump on that ball. They say they got it at least, and They do come away with that ball.
That's
actually Josh Kalka who came away with that ball. The quarterback getting dirty on special teams.
Wow, that's crazy.
Indeed, the official ruling was just given. Chippewa will retain the ball 1st and 10 at their 48-yard line. So a short punt, bouncing backwards, looking like it was going to be great field position for Romeo. Bounced off a defender's leg and right into the hands of Kalka. He quickly jumped on it, so now the Big Reds right back with the ball 1st and 10 at midfield.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays you really have to avoid to beat a team like Chippewa Valley. I mean, you made a great stop. You're going to get the ball on the 50-yard line, and then something like that happens.
Tough. Yeah, because it was a short kick, but you do got to get away from that ball. But again, that's such a tough situation because the kick wasn't very long.
No, he was trying to block.
You don't expect it, and that ball came straight back. So just really a tough break for the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
But benefiting is the Big Reds.
You know, when we were at Stevenson, the guy would yell poison. There's certain things you're going to yell to get everybody away from there, but they just can't always hear it, and that guy was just trying to make a block, and the ball runs up, hits him in the leg.
Kalka gives to Harris, trying to work the left side of that Chippewa line. Pickup of around 2.5, 3 yards. Crossing midfield is Myron Harris.
Yeah, Chippewa Valley has been in the right spots. That Myron Harris hasn't had it's Romeo, every time they run the ball, they're really getting about 4 or 5 yards before any contact. Chippewa Valley's had a little bit harder time to block Romeo, but Harris just made some incredible runs, to start the game. So we'll see if that keeps up.
Kalka, fake to Harris, looking over the middle. He's going to let it fly. He's got a man open. Ooh. Intended for number 3, Corey Anderson, but a great defensive play by the Bulldog defender to recover. He was beat. That ball was there, but he extended fully and got a fingertip on that ball.
Yeah, it was a great route. It was in single coverage. The receiver went to fake the flag route and then busted a post inside down the middle. He had the DB on his back. The defensive back actually made a great job recovering on that play to get a hand on it because the ball wasn't thrown that bad, but he was beat, but then was able to get back and break up that pass.
So a 3rd down and 7 situation for the Big Reds. 3 wide to the top side.
4 in the formation, 4 receivers.
Kalka, Harris, single back. Kalka drops back, looking over the middle. That one's going to be picked off by the Bulldogs in a wide open lane. All the way back down to the Chippewa Valley 45-yard line. So the Romeo Bulldogs creating an opportunity and getting that ball back on defense. They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at the Chippewa Valley 46-yard line.
Really was like deja vu to the last drive when Chippewa Valley brought a rusher off the edge. Romeo did the same thing. Kalka didn't see him. I wasn't able to tell if he was hit as he threw, but it definitely shocked him a little bit because that ball wasn't thrown like usual balls that he throws. But yeah, just a great blitz from Romeo there off the edge because they didn't have anyone in the backfield to block. When a team doesn't have any backs in the backfield, you should always bring 5-6 guys.
Tight formation. Miller drops back to pass for the Bulldogs, looking over the middle, lets it go. Got a man, but overthrows Nino Braza, his intended wide receiver. So the Bulldogs taking a shot after that turnover, trying to go deep, but once again, just overthrown by Miller.
Yeah, I think Chippewa had it defended well. The mantra is, or the saying is, when you get a turnover, look for a big play on that next offensive snap. And I think Chippewa Valley had that, had that in their mind, and they were ready to defend that. But got to give Romeo credit for giving it a shot.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 10 situation. Bulldogs. Tight formation. Miller under center. St. Clair in the backfield. Formation shift by the Bulldogs. Give to St. Clair up the middle. He's going to power his way forward for about 2 or 3 yards. As you see, some extracurricular activity happen down on the corner. Defensive back getting driven back by a couple of Bulldogs there.
No, I didn't see it. Was it anything super serious?
Just
punches thrown or anything like that?
No. Just a couple of linemen locked up on a defensive back that were looking to finish.
That's the kind of stuff you got to avoid. I mean, really what it is, man, and it's the thing. It's tough to be up here and say it because when you're in the heat of the battle, it's like we're up here, we're not there on the field, we're not hearing what's being said, but it really becomes a selfish move. It hurts your team, puts you 15 yards back, and just makes it tough to
It was, especially when you got two big hogs stacked up on a defensive back like that. And I mean, they were 20 yards away from the play. The ball went the other way. Hey, I'm a big guy. I played line. I love that stuff. But quite frankly, you're going to get flagged for that one every time. So 15-yard penalty going to be marched off on the Bulldogs. That's going to set up a third down and very, very long situation and an uncomfortable situation for the Bulldogs as well.
Yeah, this is not what Romeo wants to be in. They don't want to be in third and long, so that's not how their offense is set up. But we'll see what they got here.
Miller shotgun formation. He's going to give to Chepsky on the end around. Chepsky showing some speed, makes a couple of defenders miss, gets out to the sideline, and picks up a good 15 chunk yardage and gets a lot of it back.
Was it third down? So it'll be fourth and 8 now or so?
Third down. So now we're looking at a fourth down and long seven situation.
You're in a spot of the field here where I don't know what you're going to do here. I would probably punt them deep, but we'll see what coach wants to do. If I had a team that could throw the ball a bit more consistently, but again, I mean, they're running the ball 10 yards a pop. You never know what they're going to do.
And twice on third down and long situation, Romeo has been able to pick up more than half that yardage back. So they do have some back play page books, some back page book plays.
I knew what you meant.
That will open up some opportunity. But we will see what the Bulldogs do as they are faced with a 4th down and 7 situation on the Chippewa Valley 42-yard line.
I'll tell you what, if you come out and you decide to go for it and run the ball on 4th and 6 and get it, it's a hell of a call.
Big statement.
Yeah, they're going for
Miller
it.
Shotgun.
Watch the quick kick here.
Yep, quick kick. Wouldn't be surprised if it's coming. Jet motion, Chapsky to the right side. He'll be your gunner. There's the quick kick. So a nice, smart play. They're going to play the field position, and nice pooch kick there by Miller, as that one's going to come to a roll and stop down around the 12-yard line. So the Bulldogs electing to pin the Big Reds back deep in their end zone and make them drive the length of the field, which is a tough thing to do against Romeo unless you got a back like Harris who can bust off 63-yarders carrying an entire squad on his back like he did in the first quarter.
And that's the kind of player he is. But, Romeo's a good defense as well, and we'll see what they do. I like that. I feel like that pooch kick's become a little bit more popular now. I remember seeing it back in the day, but the quick kick, I'm sorry. So when the quarterback looks like he's in the shotgun, they're going to run a play, and you're able to get that ball booted back there without anybody, able to make a fair catch. So I like that call. Good call.
So 8 minutes and 17 seconds to go in this first half. It's a 7-7 ball game. Both of these defenses starting to settle in after opening drive touchdowns by both teams. Kulka's shotgun formation. Harris set to his left side. 2 wide receivers to the wide side. Give to Harris. He's going to bust off left tackle. Had a seam brought down from the back. But again, Myron Harris looked like he was going to squeeze through that window. He was brought down, but man, that kid is just something else when the ball's in his hands. It's going to be a 2nd down and 9 instead of a touchdown.
Yeah. Strength and quickness. It's a lethal combination in high school football. If you got both of them, it's going to be tough for the opposing team to take you down.
Kulka drops back to pass, looking to the left side. Got a man. Underthrows his receiver, intended for number 9, the junior Daryl Hawkins. So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and long situation for Chippewa Valley. I know Kulka's going to want that one back because that was an opportunity to pick up some yardage. Good route.
Yes.
Had his man beat.
Standard route combination. They went twins left. The outside guy ran a streak, and the inside slot man ran about a 6-yard out. The streak, takes the defender out and singles you up, and a lot of times you can get that out and get quick 6-7 yards, and the call was good, the play was there, and the throw was just a little bit low.
Tight formation from the Big Reds this time. Kulka still in a shotgun set. Harris set to his left side. They're going to give to Harris. He's going to work the right side. Got a seam.
Wow,
Harris has got some speed. He's going to go, and there it is, out across the 50. Giving chase. Down, finally brought down at the 23-yard line. And once again, there's that big play that we were just talking about from Harris, the ability to score. And that young man almost broke another big one. He was off and running. Finally brought down at the Bulldog 24-yard line. So the Chippewa Valley Big Reds flipped the field in one play, and they're in business, 1st and 10.
That's a tough play to swallow as a Romeo fan, coach. You got them in 3rd and 9, and they break off a 6-70-yard run. You got to figure with Chippewa Valley, they're a balanced team. You got to figure they were sitting back in, pass coverage, and they were able to spring a run on them with Harris. And that guy had the angle on it from all the way across the field, or he wouldn't have caught him. No way.
So here we go, 1st and 10, ball in the Bulldog territory. Kulka looking for a man in the end zone, and he just overthrows his receiver. That was Q
Housley. That was another great route. Could you see what they did there, Mac? They had twins to the left. Outside guy ran a little stop, and the inside slot guy ran a flag. We called it a corner to the end. To the end zone, and he broke it wide open. In my opinion, that ball's got to be caught though. That was a good throw.
Sure, and it was a beautiful throw. Once again, that was 2 beautiful throws that just seemed.
Both of them were a little bit far for the receiver, but plays that I think that those kids will even tell you that they know they can make.
By all means, that ball was thrown with a lot of touch and had some air under it. So, Kulka, he overthrows his man on that one. They tried to get the quick pass over to Q in space and let the playmaker do something. But Kulka overthrew his man on the bubble, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 10 situation. Check that, 3rd down and 10 situation for the Big Reds.
That bubble screen's a tough one to throw sometimes because when you get the snap, if you don't have the ball gripped correctly, you don't have your hands on the the strings or laces like a quarterback likes to have it. You got to kind of throw it out there quickly. I'm sure he'd like to have that one back because that was incomplete from the time he left his hands.
Empty backfield, 3 to the wide side, Chippewa Valley. 3rd and long on the Bulldog 24-yard line. Kulka with pressure, looking. He's got a man. Completed down in the end zone, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Big Reds. That's number 3, Corey Anderson, the second. Hauling that one in. He was wide open. Kulka found him as he was getting tackled by that defensive line, was able to get rid of it just in time. And Anderson.
Yeah, Romeo brought some heat there. They were a little susceptible and left themselves vulnerable there in the secondary. Guy was wide open, made the catch, and then was able to roll off a few bodies because he would have been short and roll into the end zone.
So check that. That was the junior wide receiver, Daryl Hawkins, on that reception as the kick is up, and it's good. So Chippewa Valley now with the 14-7 lead with 6 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah,
we know these teams well, too. These purple jerseys are a little difficult to get used to with the red numbers up here.
I didn't know we were watching at first. I've been a little bit out of the high school action here for a while until you brought me into the booth last week, and it's for some sort of cause, right?
It is.
Okay, what's going on with that, you know?
So they are honoring a lost community member, family member, football member. Once again, Chippewa Valley has been struck by cancer, and once again, it's just an awful situation. So the Chippewa Valley Big Reds continuing to
honor them
and play for a cause and wear the purple jerseys and everything. Again, don't want to talk about too much of that stuff. But
yeah, just not the usual red you're used to see Chippewa Valley in, and but yeah, good for them. That's a good thing to do.
So 6 minutes and 43 seconds to go.
Think about the impact on that last drive, Mac. I mean, Romeo gets a stop. They're going to get the ball back on the 50-yard line, and the muff punt happens, and now you look at the scoreboard and you're down 7 points when really you were about to be in control of the football game.
Yep. Kickoff returned by number 21 for the Bulldogs, Nino Braza. He takes it out to the Bulldog 21-yard line where the Bulldogs will take over 1st and 10.
That's really how quick football can change. I mean, it might be cliche, but games are decided by 3 or 4 big plays that happen. Like the game we covered last week, the interception on the first play. I mean, who knows if that game would have been different if that didn't happen, right?
Well, as crazy as this game has been so far, I mean, we've already had 3 or 4 games that we could talk about after this game, no matter the results.
Yep,
so
exactly.
Beautiful evening for football. 50 degrees in the air, clear skies, week 8 matchup.
See that? They lined 4 guys up in a little power I, Maryland I formation there in the back.
The old Jim Harbaugh formation where Rudock used to clap his hands and get those three hogs onto the line. Counter, that's give to Chapsky. He's going to work the left side, pick up around 2 or 3, 4 yards after forward progress, finally bottled up and pushed back by a host of Big Reds. They'll whistle that one dead. It'll be a 2nd down and 6 situation. Ball will be spotted on the 27-yard line as we approach the halfway mark of the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, that was the best defense I think Chippewa has played to that motion, to those counters. They were in the right spots, and really kind of stay where they needed to be to make sure a big play wasn't, it didn't happen for Romeo.
Bulldogs break the huddle. Ball spotted just inside that left hash. Miller under center. Chapsky, jet motion to the left side. Give to St. Clair up the middle. Check that. Once again, the give was to Chapsky on that jet sweep.
It's a good thing you're not playing linebacker here, Matt, because if you were playing linebacker, they might have 10, 15 touchdowns.
If I was playing linebacker, I'd just be hitting that up back in the A-gap all day and letting the rest of my peoples take care of that outside stuff. Because I move forward and backwards, not left or right,
That's a good point, man. You got to watch these. I'm telling you, though, the deception of these offenses, their offense is unbelievable. It really is. You got to watch the keys. They're pulling people. They're putting people in jet motions. They're countering on you.
Absolutely. Got to be disciplined. Chippewa Valley's done a great job of it so far. Formation shift once again by the Bulldogs, unbalanced to the right side. They're going to give to Casey Harrison, number 33.
Outstanding defensive effort, number 5, Devarius McGraw.
Brought down around the line of scrimmage, second down and 10 situation then for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Devarius McGraw on that stop, and that was a great play. He came in from, it looked like from the opposite side a little bit, got some good pursuit, and right when Romeo's back was about to make his cut, he felt the hit right there from McGraw.
So the Romeo offense slowing things down a little bit tempo-wise, breaking the huddle as well on this drive.
That's what they want to do, I think. They established that. I mean, I think you mentioned it. We only had about 2 drives in the whole first quarter. So
St. Clair up the middle this time. He's going to fall forward for about 3 or 4 yards, bringing up a 3rd down and 5 situation as he gets the ball out to the 38-yard line.
St. Clair.
So 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in the first half. Chippewa with the 14-7 lead in our Week 8 game of the week here on Macomb Preps, a MAC Red championship battle as the Bulldogs and the Big Reds battling this one out. That's exactly what it's been, to a battle.
Really has been a very fair game. Romeo, twice with the holding penalty, and then the fumbled punt kind of shot themselves in the foot, but they're still very much in the game.
Bulldogs speed things up. Miller in the backfield. He's going to fake the give. Complete his pass on the slant. That's number 21, Nino Braza, the junior. He's going to make his way out to the 44-yard line. That's going to be just enough for a Bulldog first down. Some great route awareness, able to pick up that first down through the air. And the Bulldogs got a first down and 10 situation at midfield.
Yeah, the slant is that's a great route. All you got to do is make sure the receiver or the DB is on your outside, and then you should always be able to get to the inside. And I'm sure these two practice that all off season, all during the season, and as long as your timing is right, it's a tough play to stop.
Braza split to the wide side up top this time. Unbalanced to the right side. Little misdirection. It looked like Miller was getting ready to roll out and take that one himself, but a false start called instead, as that play will be whistled dead and a 5-yard penalty will be marched off. That'll set up a first down and 15 situation. Ball being spotted back at the 39-yard line now.
Yeah, just kind of what we've been talking about with Romeo, just kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, it's not quite, a 10-yarder where it's, really hard to recover from, but first and 15 is not the position Romeo, with the offense that they run, wants to put themselves in. It's just not.
So out of the 4 drives that we've seen Romeo when they've had a down and long distance, 3 out of 4 of those drives now throughout this night.
If you take those away, I mean, they've been running the ball at will, really. 6, 7, 8 yards a pop, right?
Unbalanced to the left side, twins to the short side, fake the jet sweep. Miller gives the counter. St. Clair's got a wide opening. He's going to take off. He's got the corner all the way down to the 25-yard line before he's finally tripped up and pushed out of bounds. So dual misdirection and the inside counter this time to St. Clair, and the big boy able to square his shoulders and show some speed, trucks it all the way down to the Chippewa Valley 22-yard line. Bulldogs in business, 1st and 10 now with 2 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the first half.
They've ran that play twice now. They ran it before on the 3rd and 18, and both times Chippewa Valley has been just completely confused and nobody anywhere near the running back. But that is a great setup play. I mean, it's fantastic. Nobody knows where the ball's at.
Double wing, St. Clair off to the right. Give to Chapsky on the jet sweep. Chapsky's got the corner. shows a flash of speed. He's going to make his way across inside the 10-yard line, finally pushed all the way out of bounds, all the way down at the 6-yard line, and another first down. That'll set up 1st and goal now with 6 yards to go for the Big Reds as they're trying to even this one up in the final moments of the first half.
Chapsky's running style really reminds me of kind of like a Le'Veon Bell style, where he's really patient when it comes to his blockers. He's waiting for them to lead him, even when he gets to the outside. Very patient runner, good runner.
Chapsky on that left side. Miller give up the middle. Touchdown, Romeo. So once again, working that inside counter. Looked like Miller was going to boot with that one, but the inside counter give to...
It was number 18, I think. I don't know you have a name on that, but I thought he was number 18. Cole's running.
Cameron Joseph with an outstanding block. Number 18 on the touchdown run.
18 it is, Fabrizio Rosidi.
Oh, I had the wrong roster. That's my fault.
We've got some roster changes for the Bulldogs. We're finally getting that information up here. So Casey Harrison wearing number 33, Fabrizio Rosidi wearing number 18.
Oh, they pulled the old jersey trickaroo on us, huh?
And the no roster trickaroo.
Just try to make it harder for two guys trying to have some fun up here in the booth, huh, Mac? I'll tell you what, though, big answer by Romeo. I mean, that was huge to tie that game up. Chippewa Valley still got a minute 40 to work here. I don't see them going into a shell. They're going to go down. They're going to try to score. They're going to throw the football. But just to even the score here and make Chippewa do something with it, was a huge drive for them.
I tell you what, and impressive as it was as well, it didn't take Romeo that long to score for a team that usually likes to chunk away runs and milk that clock. They definitely didn't take very long to tie this one up.
No, and I'm telling you, I mean, this is not knocking Chippewa what they're playing, but I would say that even though the score is 14-14, Romeo, to me, has been able to control the line of scrimmage more so than Chippewa Valley has. And like we said, if it really wasn't for that fumble and a couple penalties, it could be a different game. So it's definitely an even matchup right now, and that's why the score is tied 14-14.
The kick is sent deep. It's going to be returned by Harris at his own 5-yard line. He's got some space. Returned out past the 20, out around the 25-yard line. Late flag comes thrown in from the back judge.
Number 4, Miles Harris on the tackle.
That was Miles Harris on the return this time. The senior, 5'11", 195 pounds.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee it's going to be a hold or a block in the back. It looks like it's a hold there.
Holding it is, so a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. That's going to drive Chippewa Valley back even further. They'll set up shop on their own 11-yard line where they'll have it 1st and 10 with a minute 33 to go here in the first half, and we're all tied up at 14.
I'll tell you what, at least it's not like the NFL or college where now every time there's a punt or a kickoff, you're going to get some kind of flag, right? High school, I don't see it every time,
No, but surprisingly, there's been a lot of penalties in this one between these two teams that are typically very disciplined and well-focused.
Yeah, there has, especially on the Romeo side. We brought it up. But.
So there you have your answer. Chippewa Valley coming out on the field. They are spread wide, 3 to this bottom side, and they got a wildcat formation. That's Harris going to keep it back there, and he's got an opportunity. He's going to break the first couple of tackles and work his way out to the 12-yard line. So a lot of work for a 1-yard pickup.
He's slithery, man. That call surprised me a little bit because you just have no threat of a pass back there with Harris. At least I don't know if he can throw the football as a running back. And if you're trying to score, you're taking about 40 seconds off the clock there with that play. But we'll see what Coach Merchant decides to do.
Kolka back in at the quarterback spot. Clock running, under a minute to go here in the first quarter. All 3 timeouts for Chippewa Valley.
Yeah, it looks like he might be trying to take this into halftime. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're definitely doing something here.
Deep down in their end 11-yard line, they're finally going to take a timeout and talk about things with 45 seconds to go in a 2nd down and 9 situation. But I understand that as well. With the way this Romeo defense have been playing, it's taken the big play for Chippewa Valley to score twice and to extend their drives. So if they end up in a 3rd down and long situation and don't get that big play, all of a sudden Romeo's got the ball with midfield to go and an opportunity to go up in the half. So I understand that viewpoint as well. Surprising, but I understand.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with the penalty on the kickoff, right? So when you're back in the 11-yard line, there's a lot bigger. This makes a lot more sense too than if you're on the 25 or 30 starting off. You might have seen a different approach there from Coach Merchant.
Once again, remind you, tonight's game of the week brought to you by D&H Window Cleaning, residential and commercial servicing Macomb County and its surrounding area. Locally owned, the Young family is celebrating 50 years of business and its third generation of family ownership. Give them a call, 586-726-2340. Kolka, shotgun, back to action, give to Harris. He's going to work the left side. He's got a seam, squeezes through that window, breaks the tackle, all the way out to the 30, still not brought down, finally pushed out of bounds by about 3 Bulldogs, but not until he crossed the 30-yard line, and unbelievable for a play that looked like he was bottled up at the line of scrimmage, able to sneak through that off-tackle hole and get it all the way out to the 30-yard line and move the chains. Yeah, unbelievable.
For everyone that's listening to this live, you have to go onto the YouTube page when we get it going and check out these runs, because this kid is something special. I mean, he's breaking 3 tackles every time he touches the ball.
Well, shout out to Harris. He's keeping me on my game, because right when you think he's about to be brought down, he squirts through that hole and makes a play.
And that run might have changed Coach Merchant's mind here. They might be looking to get some points on the board. We'll see how they do this.
Kolka shotgun, drops back to pass, looking, got a man on the right side. That is Anderson.
So you didn't get a first down. You might have, if you're going to try to score, you might need to use a timeout, but we'll see.
Just under 30 seconds to go. Clock ticking now, 23 seconds. Second down and 5. Chippewa Valley's got to move if they do indeed want to score. Kolka giving his wide receivers his hand signals. Shotgun formation. Kolka drops back to pass. He's going to be pressured, forced to roll out. He's going to got a man wide open, forced to throw back across his body. Not safe to do, but he did have a guy, but unable to complete that pass. 6 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, I think maybe they were just looking to bring it into halftime. You let a lot of time run off the clock there without using a timeout. So right now I would expect a run by Harris, or maybe a little bubble screen out to Q or one of the other receivers and see if they can break something big. If not, you go into halftime tied.
Well, no matter what you want to do, you want to get at least 4 seconds off the clock,
right,
if not all 6.
Yeah.
Kolka, he's going to give to Harris. Harris working the left side, off tackle. Once again, fighting and working his way forward. He's going to be tackled at the 39-yard line as the buzzer sounds. We have reached halftime here at Big Red Stadium in our Week 8 game of the week. Chippewa Valley hosting Romeo as the Bulldogs and the Big Reds will go into the locker room tied at 14. Kent, what's your thoughts on this first half of this ball game?
Excellent high school football game between two great teams. I mean, I think that Romeo, throughout the first half, to me, has established more of a, their running game is clicking. They're getting better blocks. They're getting 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. Now on the Chippewa side, you've got just an outstanding, solo performance, just by Harris, right? I mean, he's made 2 phenomenal runs. Not to say the other team kids aren't playing well, but Harris has made big plays, and they're 2 evenly matched teams. So excited for the second half.
Second half of action will be underway in just under 20 minutes as we invite you to stay with us and enjoy the sounds of halftime as the Big Red Marching Band will entertain you for the next 15 minutes. And before we head out, Ken, talking about both these defenses, it looked like that Chippewa Valley defense took a few drives to settle in, but they were able to settle in nicely, force a couple of turnovers and a turnover on downs and some punts. Realistically, gave up that first opening drive touchdown, but has been pretty solid since then as well.
Yeah, they've been solid. They've been. I mean, they're a good defense, right? But Romeo's misdirection, Romeo's counters can trick anybody. Some of the best defenses around. And Chippewa Valley. Let's not kid ourselves. They've been aided by some penalties on Romeo as well. That's kind of put them behind the sticks. So, I would expect Coach Merchant and the defensive guys over at Chippewa Valley to kind of talk at halftime, put that misdirection. Make sure you guys are reading your keys, making the right. Staying in the right lanes, because they've got to get that cleaned up, or the second half could be long for them. Romeo, they can go on a 6, 7, 8 minute drive easily if they don't get it cleaned up.
So if you're Coach Scott Merchant, you're in the Big Red locker room right now, you're in a 14-14 dogfight with the Romeo Bulldogs. What are you telling your squad right now?
Positive. I'm staying positive. I mean, they knew that this was going to be a tough game, coming in. Romeo's a great football team. I'm really trying to focus on my defense, knowing where they got to be, reading their keys, staying disciplined. And my offense, we're doing what we got to do. I mean, they're getting people open. They had a few open receivers where, we talked about earlier, both throws were maybe 1 or 2 feet too long, but could have been caught. So they're getting receivers in the open areas, but they just they got to keep making those plays.
And on the other side of the field right now, inside the locker room, if you're part of that Romeo Bulldog team, you got to be feeling pretty good about playing the defending Division I state champions to a 14-14 tie at halftime with some pretty impressive offensive dominance going on up front on the offensive line.
Yeah, I would think Romeo coaches are thrilled. I mean, I think they're probably a little bit more pumped up about that first half performance, in my opinion, than Chippewa's coach should be, because I just think that they were able to establish a run game and establish that line, kind of blowing Chippewa off the ball. But it's going to be an exciting second half regardless, just as good as the first.
Softball and
so halftime festivities underway here at Chippewa Valley High School. This has been an absolutely great game. It's had a little bit of everything. We've seen some special teams mishaps. We've seen a turnover. We've seen big plays. We've seen great defense. We've seen run game established. I mean, when you're talking about overall high school football, this is some good stuff.
Oh yeah, look at the environment. I mean, look across the field. Romeo stands are filled. You've got people along the fences here, and we're about to see a fantastic performance by one of the bands as well. So.
Class of 2006, Miss Kelly Gunther, inline speed skater, 2014.
So we wrap things up here. First half of action here at Chippewa Valley High School. 16 minutes left to go in the halftime festivities. We're going to step away and turn things down to the field as we bring you our halftime performance of the Chippewa Valley Marching Band.
Class of 07, Joseph Fisher, wrestling, Joseph Fisher. The class of 08, Stephanie Skowineski, Dana. Soccer, Stephanie Skowineski, Dana. For the class of 08, Ms. Claire Cannon Capral. Softball and basketball, Claire Cannon Capral. For the class of 08, Alyson Bodenbach Coons, track and cross country. 08, Allison Bodenbach Coons. All right, fans, it's time to get out of that seat and stomp those feet. Here we go. Leading the classes from the year 1989 through 2005 and through the years of 2007 on to 2009. The head coach, Mr. Michael Carr. The head coach of football, Mr. Michael Carr. And the granddaddy of them all, you ready for this? 30 years of softball, Mr. David Preston Inzi. 30 years of softball. Make some noise for Mr. David Preston Inzi. We are honored and privileged to have you folks here tonight. Once a Big Red, always a Big Red. Once again, make some noise for those Hall of Fame inductees. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present the Chippewa Valley High School Big Reds Marching Band. Big Reds will be performing for you this evening their 2019 field show entitled The Avengers. The show features the musical selections from the blockbuster Marvel movies. The band will open with The Avengers, will then play music from Black Panther, theme from Ant-Man, and will close tonight's performance with Captain America March. Drum majors, Neil Carrera, Matt Stevens, and Steven Vasquez. Is your band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the Big Reds Marching Band. marching band will be competing in Brandon High School's Marching Band Invitational tomorrow, and oddly enough, Brandon High School in Ortonville. The band performs at 3 p.m. Come cheer on your Big Red Marching Band.
Your attention, please. Your attention. When I call
line of scrimmage a little bit more and was able to run the ball. It just penalties kind of hurt them. They put themselves in, long first downs. They did that fumble on the punt that was huge. That fumble was really big. They were going to have the ball on the 50-yard line going in, but at the end of the day, they were able to overcome that and tie the score up before halftime. So should be an exciting second half.
So that's where we are at as halftime festivities are coming to a close here at Big Red Stadium. 14-14 ball game. Romeo will kick off to start the second half, meaning Chippewa will get the ball as both these sidelines and student sections and stands fill back in. Great atmosphere for high school football as well. Shout out to Chippewa Valley. They put on a heck of a show here, and how can you not when you've won 21 straight games coming off a Division I MHSAA state title to boot. A lot of pride going on here at Chippewa Valley.
Yeah, just like a back red clash, two big high schools, two town cities that support their team, and we're thankful enough to be here and be in this environment and be able to call the game.
For the Big Reds, wearing the number 8 jersey, Quillen Housey, and number 4, Miles Harris.
Second half action getting ready to get underway. Housey and Harris set deep for the Big Reds. That's going to be Housey returning from his own 7-yard line. He's going to have to stop and reverse pivot. He's got an opportunity to catch the sideline and sprints up the numbers out to the 24-yard line. So looked like he was bottled up, came to a complete stop, hit the B button, spun it to the outside, and grabbed himself an extra 4 or 5 yards. I tell you what, the athleticism out of these Chippewa Valley skilled kids, it's just, talking about it can't do justice for what we're seeing in person. I mean, honestly, it's looking like one thing's going to happen, and all of a sudden you just see a flash of speed and a burst of strength and an extra 4 more yards. It's unbelievable.
It really is. They got Harris, they got Q, Housey can make moves. They got 3 other receivers that can do the same thing, and that's kind of I didn't really get the first half. Their players were making big plays. Romeo was kind of being more disciplined, kind of making those long drives, but Chippewa Valley's athletes were out there making plays, and that's what has the game tied.
Big Reds start the second half. First down and 10. Kolka connects with Anderson out on the right side there for a pickup of around 4 yards. That'll bring up a second down and 6 situation. Ball being spotted out at the 27-yard line on the right hash.
Good pass from Kolka. A little scary pass. The receiver didn't have much separation, but he was able to fit it in there.
Shotgun set. Harris set to the left side of Kolka. Kolka going to drop back to pass, looking at his left side. He's got a receiver connected to Housey. Housey makes his man miss. Burst of speed out to the 39-yard line, 38-yard line, where he was finally pushed out of bounds. First down for Chippewa Valley.
Yeah, the start and stop there, you could see it. His acceleration, able to stop on a dime and then start back up at the same speed is pretty exceptional.
No huddle look for Chippewa Valley. Entire sideline with their eyes on Coach Merchant.
Going 4 wide.
He signals in the play. 4 wide for the Big Reds. Give to Harris up the middle. Harris cuts back. And you better hold on tight, young fella, because that man has an opportunity to break away from some tackles. He's going to pick up 3 yards. That'll bring up a second down and 7 situation. Ball spotted just inside Chippewa Valley's 41-yard line.
See, when you go 4 wide with Chippewa and you have a guy like Harris in the backfield, obviously everyone thinks, people think 4 wide, they're going to throw the football, but really you're also spreading out the defense and allowing a guy like Harris just to have one-on-one matchups, really, if he breaks that through that line.
Chippewa Valley comes back with the same look. Kolka drops back to pass this time. He's going to look for Hawkins. Overthrows his man on the crossing route. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 situation for the Big Reds.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to complete that pass, and that's similar to the route they ran in the first half where they're going to streak the outside guy down the field. Inside slot man's going to run about a 5-6 yard out. It's been open, just haven't been able to complete the pass yet tonight.
Take this opportunity to remind you that Macomb Preps is actively seeking sponsors and advertisers to help support the fastest growing high school sports outlet in the area. So if you are a local business owner or operator in or around Macomb County looking to get your name out to the thousands of Mac Prep followers, reach out to us at macpreps@gmail.com. Tight bunch formation for the Big Reds. Kolka drops back to pass. He's going to be forced out of the pocket, moves up to the line of scrimmage, lets it go. Intended for number 4, Miles Harris, but overthrows his receiver as Kolka was under pressure, and it was just the pressure got to him, forced him to get rid of that one as he crossed the line of scrimmage and overthrew his receiver, who was wide open. If Harris would have caught that ball, he would have scampered for a big gain.
Yeah, it was too bad for Chippewa. I mean, quarterback Kolka, he made a good athletic move to kind of avoid the rush, and as he stepped in, he saw Harris. I think it was Harris who was open. Who was
Harris,
the receiver?
yes.
Harris was open, and he just overshot him because he could have ran for a while before getting touched.
Short punt again by the Big Reds. Braz is going to remind all of his teammates to get away from this one as the ball is going to take a Big Red bounce this time all the way down to the 20-yard line where the Bulldogs are going to set up shop for the first time here in the second half. Tie ball game at Chippewa Valley High School, 14-14. Just under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. You're listening to a live radio broadcast of our Week 8 Game of the Week right here on MacombPreps.com.
Big stop by Romeo to start the second half. They wanted to come out there, I think only allowed Chippewa 1 first down, got the ball back, and you know what Romeo wants to do here, right, Mac? They want to go on one of those long drives, run the ball, take the clock down to about 4 minutes or 3, and score a touchdown, right?
They definitely want to establish that Romeo identity that they established on the first drive of the game.
You want to
Give up the middle.
You want to keep Housey and Harris and those athletes off the field as much as possible.
On the carry for the Bulldogs, number 34, Brian St. Clair.
So that was St. Clair on the carry. Misdirection. Give with a whole bunch of blockers up the middle and basically push your way forward. Pick up of around 6 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it looks similar to a lot of plays they ran in the first half. Romeo doesn't have the biggest playbook, but they do everything that they do well, and it works.
Miller under center. St. Clair offset to the left side. Toss to St. Clair to that left side. He's going to catch the corner.
Nice tackle.
And he's going to be upended quickly there by the Big Red defense. That is Myron Harris on that tackle. Check that. That is Miles Harris, the senior defensive back. Loss of 1 on the play. 3rd down and 5 situation. Check 3rd down and 6 after the spot for the Bulldogs.
Miles Harris and Myron. Yeah, Miles was the one that was overthrown in the last drive as well. So there we go. Big stop here. 3rd down and 5. They got to come up with a play. Typically you'd think 3rd and 5 is a passing down, but with Romeo, on offense, you never really know. So you got to be ready for anything here.
Unbalanced to the right for the Bulldogs. 2 in the backfield. St. Clair, the up back. They're going to give it to Chapsky. Chapsky's going to spin his way around that right side and upfield, pick up of around 2 or 3 yards on the carry, bringing up a 4th down for the Bulldog, assuming a punt situation. And indeed, here comes the punt team for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he really could have got tackled there behind the line of scrimmage. He made a good effort to get a few yards on that play. That's what Romeo does, 3rd down and 5. They're going to make a run. They ran it. They didn't get it, so can't really fault coach too much because they're not a passing team, but hopefully they can get a stop here on Chippewa Valley getting the ball.
So 4th down and short situation. Bulldogs will elect to punt deep in their own end. 29-yard line. Standing back at his own 37-yard line is the sophomore Zach Ernott for the Big Reds. Punt is off. End over end. Line drive. Fair caught by Ernott at the 40-yard line.
On the receiving end, number 19.
Good catch there on the punt. That kind of scared me a little bit for him. It looked like the ball was starting to, the wind was starting to pick up on a little bit, and that could very easily have been a muff punt.
Absolutely. It was a line drive kick. It did not knuckle on him, but the sophomore getting a vote of confidence from the coaching staff to be put back there on special teams in a big Mac Red game about that. It just speaks about the confidence that they have in that sophomore.
Absolutely.
So Chippewa Valley is going to take over once again, this time at their own 40-yard line. This is probably the best starting position that the Big Reds have had all game, so we'll see if they can do anything with it.
Yeah, look for him to get Myron involved a little bit more on this drive. I don't think he touched it only but 1 or 2 times last possession.
Shotgun situation, but 2 backs in the backfield this time. Motion to the left side. Give to Harris. He's going to work that left side, but strung out quickly. He reverses field. Unbelievable. This kid is just nonstop. I mean, he was literally walled off and being pushed out of bounds, and the kid just stopped and switched fields right at the sideline, reminiscent of that cutback that Reggie Bush had on the sideline. Unable to take it to the house, but I mean, he turned a -1 yard gain into a 5-yard pickup. Again, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just unbelievable watching this kid run the ball.
Yeah, again, I'm at a loss for words to describe it as well. He really, I mean, his vision is incredible out there.
Myron Harris set to the right side of Kalka. They go right back to him, same play on
that
that left
face
side.
mask there, but I don't know if the ref saw it.
This time he'll be bottled up after a pickup of 2 yard lines, and the Romeo defense is going to make sure that he was brought down this time.
And kind of like we talked about, I mean, he really, even though he's making these runs that we're talking about, he really hasn't had a lot of room to work with either. You know, he's kind of doing that on his own. Romeo's holding their own on the defensive line. They just can't tackle Harris. You know, so that's kind of what what Chippewa's got going.
Looking up at Chippewa's offensive line and Romeo's defensive line from up here. That's a lot of big boys down there battling it out in the trenches.
Absolutely.
Tight bunch to the wide side. They're going to give to Harris, working the right side this time. He's going to be stopped. Again, driven back, cuts back, reverses field, runs all the way back to the short side of the field.
Just depend on the spot, but he might be a yard short here.
Took another 2 or 3 Romeo Bulldog defenders to bring this man down after being bottled up in the backfield. Turns it into a 4-yard gain, and now we're looking at a 4th down and 1 situation for the Big Reds.
So they're going to go for it on their own side of the field.
Kalka shotgun. Hard snap. Romeo not biting. Kalka looking back at Coach Merchant.
They might be trying to draw them off sides. We'll see. They're going to punt it. Myron Harris is going to punt
Wildcat, and indeed he's going to go with the quick kick. Good boot, as that one's going to go all the way down inside the 15-yard line and be down around the 12-yard line. So
Harris on the punt.
Little field position battle being elected by the Chippewa Valley Big Reds, and probably a good choice as the wind starts to pick up, things start to cool down. It's starting to turn into a late Week 8 game of football, and that field position battle, with as good as these two defenses are playing, is going to turn into a key factor the rest of this game. I promise you that.
Yeah, I think it was a good call. It'd be tough for me with Myron Harris back there to make it, but I think it was the right call in general. But, you know, with a back like that, I mean, you never know.
It's real tough to get wild when you got athletes like Chippewa Valley.
Yeah.
All in on red. Bulldogs, shotgun formation. Miller, 5 yards back. Jet sweep. That's Chapsky working the right side. He's going to be walled off quickly by the Big Reds. Looked like the ball came loose. Chippewa Valley saying they've got it, but
I think he was down.
Ruled down by contact after a yard gain. So a 2nd down and 9 situation, reaching the 5-minute mark of this third quarter.
It looks like the Chippewa defense is starting to kind of settle in and be able to read these keys a little bit better. You know, getting a little real world, getting used to the real world instead of just seeing Romeo on film, but, you know, seeing them live and being able to react to some of this deception that they try to pull.
Well, Romeo might want to look to going back inside of those tackles, because they've had a lot of success there, but it's tough to get that edge on this Chippewa defense. Unbalanced left. They've got that counter, inside counter.
Nice play by that gentleman right there. Ooh, it might have been a late hit, too. That was number 4, Harris, on the tackle. Excuse me, that was number 5 from Chippewa Valley, Devarius McGraw on the tackle.
So the Bulldogs going unbalanced left formation on that one and doing the inside counter to Chapsky. That play's had success in that first half. This one bottled up, shoestring tackle, as Chapsky looked like he had a window. 3rd down and a long 3 situation for the Bulldogs.
Again, yeah, I mean, you just said it. It seems like we've seen each one of these Romeo plays 2 or 3 times already in the game, right? So that's kind of goes to my point, is Chippewa Valley might be starting to get used to seeing these plays and being able to react to them a little bit better.
Unbalanced right formation this time. St. Clair the up back.
Got a timeout, I think.
They were going jet sweep.
The timeout, Romeo.
To Rosidi, but we're going to get a timeout before that play happened, called by the Bulldogs. First called timeout of the second half by Romeo. They're going to talk things over, facing a 3rd down and 4 on their own 20-yard line.
Been a quick third quarter. I mean, we're already down to 3 minutes almost, and with the way these two run the ball, clock moves, right? And Romeo huddles up. Chippewa Valley usually goes a little bit more up-tempo, but it's just they haven't really got anything really going, you know?
I'd imagine that not only points are going to be at a premium for the rest of this game, but yards and first downs are going to be at a premium for the rest of this game. Be interesting to see if Romeo is going to be able to continue to grind out their identity and put more points on the board. Chippewa Valley, it's almost like you're just waiting for that next big play to put more points on the board. So Romeo definitely wanting to hold on to this ball as long as possible.
Absolutely. Hey, Matt, get an extra one of those hand warmers or no?
I don't. Well, you can stick your hands in this one. We can share, though.
Oh, man, I'll pass on that one.
Side.
Look on the jet motion.
They go right back to the play coming
What a
out of the
play.
timeout.
What a stop.
Fabricio Ricidi on the carry, the junior.
Number 18 for the Bulldogs.
He's going to be bottled up short of the line of gain, so we're in a fourth down situation for the Bulldogs, looking like the punt team's coming on. But again, great job by that defense stringing that.
Miles Harris with another good stop. When you mentioned it a couple plays back, it's been ever since the first half, at least late in the second quarter, and then this third quarter, it's been very tough to get to the edge on this team. They're very athletic, and they're staying in their spots or making plays on the outside. Again, Romeo liked to run the ball on a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, so they really just don't seem to have much confidence in their passing game, or they think they can pick it up on the run, one of the two.
Good snap, pressure coming.
It's going to be a roughing the punt.
There's going to be a flag coming out. Fair catch called by the sophomore.
Durosevich on the punt. There is a flag.
And you know what's sad about that, Mac, is he could have blocked that kick. You know, he had to make the effort to do it and just wasn't able to get a hand on it. And it's going to cost them a first down. They have to bring their defense back on the field. So, first down for Romeo, and that might be the break they needed because Chippewa got the break with Romeo fumbling the punt. So here's essentially a turnover, right, for Chippewa Valley back to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and once again, a penalty on a third down or a fourth down key play for one of these teams. And again, surprising the penalties that we've seen in big play situations from both of these teams all night, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Again, just that was a penalty. Again, I guess I can live with as a coach because you're trying to make a play, but it's just unfortunate because that gives the other team a first down, and like you said, it's like a turnover.
Well, it was a 5-yard running into the kicker call, so not roughing the kicker. 5 yards marched off. Bulldogs 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. Jet motion to the right side. Miller drops back to pass, looking over the middle.
He's got him.
Take a
He's
shot.
got him.
He's got his man.
Man.
Receiver number 15, Ty Mesner, the junior wide receiver, deep. Looked like he needed to stretch that route a little bit more downfield. It looked like he cut it towards that sideline, and Miller was trying to push that ball downfield, ended up overthrowing his receiver. But again, you just compared that penalty to a turnover, and just like the last turnover that Romeo got, they took that opportunity to go downfield, so they used the same opportunity to try and put some points up on the board as well.
Yeah, and in the past, similar to what we talked about with Chippewa Valley the last two times, just a foot or two too far, that's a touchdown.
2nd down and 10. Unbalanced right formation for the Bulldogs. St. Clair the up back. Give to St. Clair. He's going to power his way forward. Brought down by the big defensive lineman for Chip Valley. Pickup of around 3.5 yards. They're going to call it a 3rd and 6. Ball being spotted out at the 31-yard line. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. We got a 14-14 ball game.
I know they ran it on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 the last two possessions and weren't able to get. I would be surprised if they didn't try some kind of pass here, even maybe a screen or a little slant. That slant they hit earlier in the game, but we'll see.
There's the snap. Give to St. Clair, working the left side, pushing forward, pick up a 2 yards. Nothing else doing. Brought down by the Big Red defense.
St. Clair of the ball carrier.
I don't really get these. I don't know. It just seems like you're 3 straight possessions. You got the ball 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Unless they're just really trying to milk this clock, right? That's
part of what Romeo does.
True.
They play defense. They run the ball. They limit the amount of time that Chippewa Valley can have the ball, and that's probably a wise thing. As quick as Chippewa can score.
Yeah.
But again,
you got to score to win, though. Now
points and yards are going to come at a premium the rest of this game.
Yep.
Punt situation. It's a fake.
Wow.
He's got a wide open man. So special teams coming into play.
That was a brilliant call. Brilliant call. And shut me up a little bit up here because I think he probably set that up, honestly. Hey, let's run it again. We're playing. We're acting as if we're going to play defense, punt the football. and then sneaks that fake punt out there with the pass. Beautiful pass by the punter as well.
So the punter, John Jurassic, completing his pass to number 14. That's Logan Iafredi. He's going to pick up the big first down. Bulldogs in business. First down and 10. Jet motion right.
A flea flicker.
Oh! It's going to be brought down in the backfield as the pressure was coming by Chippewa Valley. So Romeo trying to take
a big one too many times on that one, I think. Fake punt, and then you come out with a flea flicker. He was open, streaking down the field, too. If he had some time to throw that, I think it would have been 6.
Pressure coming off the edge by Harris. He was able to get to Miller before he was able to get rid of that ball. So now a second down and 18.
2 exciting plays here, Mac, here the last 2, huh?
Indeed. Final minute of play here in the third quarter. Tied ball game. Chippewa Valley trying to get their fans into it. Ball at midfield. Spot just inside the left hash. Unbalanced right formation for the Bulldogs. St. Clair set behind Miller. They're going to give on the reverse. Gets the edge, makes a guy miss. That's number 18 on the carry.
On the carry for the Bulldogs,
Fabrizio Raciti.
That should bring us into the fourth quarter here, and Romeo should have about a 3rd and 13 when the fourth quarter starts up, right?
Final seconds of the fourth quarter come to a close. We're still knotted up at 14 in this one. Hands going to the air on the Big Red side, hands going to the air on the Bulldogs side. Both of these teams want it. They're 1 quarter away from sitting in the driver's seat of this MAC Red division. You're listening to the Week 8 Game of the Week here on Macomb Preps, and we got a good one.
Yeah, it's really been a defensive battle since, if you can remember, the first 2 drives of the game were touchdowns, and rather easy ones. And we were talking in the first quarter about how this, if the game stayed the same, we should have a shootout, and it clearly hasn't. It's basically halted, and we've had some costly penalties, some turnovers. The offenses have moved the ball, really. They just haven't been able to put any points on the board.
Well, these 2 offenses are high potent and have the ability to score, but not to get all cliche on them, Kent, but you know what they say about defenses winning big games and championships. And as good as these 2 teams are with the ability to put on points, both these 2 teams pride themselves on defense, and it's showing here in this MAC Red battle.
Absolutely. Something's got to give, though, because the game can't end 14-14, so somebody's got to score here sooner or later.
We promise we'll bring you every bit of this action, no matter how long it takes to end and decide the winner on this one as the fourth quarter begins here at Chippewa Valley. Jerry Mack on the call alongside Kent Fiat. Kent's tired. Miller drops back to pass. He finds Chapsky in the flat, wide open.
Wow, what a play.
Crossing the line again, so a pickup of 15 when they only needed 13 on a broken tackle, and Chapsky, that's just all heart as the kid breaks the tackle and runs himself into a first down situation all the way down to the 30-yard line. Bulldogs once again in business, and that Romeo Bulldog student section showing signs of life over there.
Yeah, we've been talking about Harris and the Chippewa Valley athletes all day, but Chapsky's made some great runs. He's got the ability to break tackles.
A little bit of thunder and lightning back there with Chapsky and St. Clair. Big St. Clair.
Yeah, there are no slouches on Romeo either. That's for sure.
They're going to give to Chapsky once again, working that right side. He's got the edge. Rode out of bounds. Be called down inside the out of bounds line, so clock continues to roll. But a pickup of 7 on this one.
On the tackle, Charles Wesley.
Ball down to Chippewa Valley's 23-yard line. That's going to bring up a second down and 3 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I would be lying to you if I told you I expect anything other than a run here from Romeo, right? Now, this question is, are they going to bust one of those counters on them, or is it going to be something where they're going to look to get to the outside on a sweep?
Keep your eyes on St. Clair in the backfield. Chapsky lined up to the left on the wing, jet motion to the right. Give to that motion man.
False start.
This one's going to be whistled dead again. False start on the Bulldogs. That give was to Fabrizio Raciti, the junior, on the jet sweep. That one will be called dead. 5-yard penalty. Back them up to the 28-yard line. That'll bring up a second down and 8 now for Romeo.
It's like a broken record on the penalties, but they really are hurting Romeo as far as doing what they want to do, and they've been able a couple times to make up for it and get those first downs on long third downs, but or get those first downs with long third down plays, but you just don't want that to happen.
Very uncharacteristic of Romeo. You got to almost blame it on the aggression. There's that inside counter that you're speaking of, and that's number 33 on a big pickup, Casey Harrison, all the way down to the 18-yard line. That's enough for a first down. And again, that inside counter, unable to pick up a first down and a big chunk of yards. Bulldogs continue to move the ball. They're now inside the big red zone.
Yeah, as Romeo's coach said, I mean, their offensive line is the strength of their team. All 5 starters are back from last year. When you're running this deception, these counters, when you got an offensive line that's in sync, that's played together, I mean, it's tough to stop.
Unbalanced to the left. St. Clair toss to the right side on the short side, straight up the field. And just like that, Romeo takes another 6 or 7 yard chunk into that big red defense.
Yeah, they're starting to wear. I mean, they've been getting some big plays, gashing them really, but they're starting to wear them down. You see, it's every time there's a tackle being made, I feel like it's coming from a safety or a defensive back. And they just haven't been able to stop this run. And Romeo just needs to finish it. They need to avoid any penalties because that's really what's been hurting.
Hats off to that Romeo offensive line because that's a big and physical Chippewa Valley defensive line, and you got to credit that to scheme and coaching up front and the system that these Romeo Bulldogs run. Unbalanced to the left, give to St. Clair up the middle. The big man's going to be bottled up by a couple of Chippewa Valley D linemen, and there's the big fellas we were just talking about as they brought St. Clair down for a loss of 1 on the play.
Charles Rosley
on the stop, I believe, number 62 there for the Big Reds.
The big fella, 6'2", 270 pounds.
That's no small gentleman there, Mac.
Big old hips on that young man, too. He'd be a force to reckon with. Chippewa Valley trying to get their fans into it. 3rd down and 6 situation. Romeo threatened to put points on the board. 8.5 minutes to go. Ball spotted on the 13-yard line. Jet motion to the right. Motion back this way. Miller under center. Long count.
Gonna pass it.
He's
got him.
He's got his man. Overthrows his tight end who leaked out on that corner route.
You see a field goal here, Mac, I think, right? I mean, that's what you got to do, don't you?
You got to take the opportunity to put up the points. Again, we've been saying it, and we keep on going back to the well on this one, Kent, but points and yards are going to come at a premium at this point in this contest. Romeo picked up yardages. Now it's time to cash in on some points.
Absolutely. I mean, this isn't too far. He's got the ball. Probably, a 33-yarder or so?
Setting up shop on the 20-yard line, so that'll officially make it a 30-yard field goal. Into attempt that is number 23. John Jurasovic, the kick is up.
That's good.
And it splits the uprights. Romeo takes a 17-14 lead here down at the corner of 19. And Romeo Plank with 8:15 left to go here in the 4th quarter.
Not only did they take the lead, Mac, but the quarter started with 12 minutes. It's down to 8. They took almost, close to half the quarter off on just that drive. And
seems like they took more than half that quarter off on that one.
So here's the thing with Chippewa Valley, right? I mean, Coach Merchant, you got to think, with the way Romeo's running the football, you got maybe 2 possessions left, right? I mean, you got to do something, because if you punt the ball here, you might get it back one more time, and that's about it.
8:15 left to go in this 4th quarter. It's our Week 8 game of the week, brought to you by D&H Window Cleaning, residential and commercial services provided in Macomb County and its surrounding area. Locally owned, the Young family is celebrating 50 years of business, and it's in its 3rd generation of family ownership. Give them a call, 586-726-2340. Head on over to their website, dhwindowcleaning.com, for more information. Back deep, Housey Harris for the Big Reds. There's the kick, end over end, sent deep. That one will be returned at his own 10-yard line. He's got space up the middle, and a seam now out to the outside. There goes Harris. Watch out, down to the 50, broken tackle, down to the 30. One man to beat. He's got speed. 10-5, touchdown, Chippewa Valley. Number 4, Miles Harris on the return. And once again, Mac Kretz is out covering a Chippewa Valley game. And once again, Chippewa Valley delivers a kickoff to the house as special teams. Once again, proves to be huge for the Big Reds. A 90-yard touchdown return for the senior.
We've talked about the athletes on Chippewa Valley all game, and there's another one we haven't talked that much about, right? I mean, that was another fantastic run. I almost tackled Bob this time. I contained myself, but just unbelievable, really. I mean, what a return.
There's the snap. The kick is up, and it's good. So Chippewa Valley now with a 4-point lead. 8 minutes, 1 second to go in the fourth quarter. Fire up the marching band. 21-17 Big Reds.
And not only does that, give them the lead, but what it does is it kind of backfires a little bit on Romeo on what they were trying to do, because now with the way they got to score, it's running the ball, it's taking the time off the clock, and now with that kick return, I mean, they were in a great spot.
You were just talking about the pressure being put on Chippewa Valley, and here we are, no more than 12 game seconds later, and that pressure has been flipped right back on Romeo. But again, it's all part of this excitement, this Week 8 Mac Red matchup. We've been saying it all night. Kent, this game has offered everything to us, and its excitement is coming down to the last 8 minutes of this ball game.
Football is a great game, isn't it? I mean, it's just crazy how quick things can change. We're talking about Chippewa Valley maybe getting 2 possessions only in the rest of the game, and Romeo kind of doing what they wanted to do. And
well, technically, you're still on par because that's not a possession.
It might turn out. It's not the way I meant it. Yeah, you're right. But we'll see. Romeo, they've been able to control the line of scrimmage all game. There's nothing saying that Romeo can't come down and take a 5-minute drive and take the lead again, right?
That kickoff's going to be whistled dead as that was Braza returning that one out of his own end zone, ruled a touchback. So the Bulldogs take over 1st and 10, 20-yard line, down 4 with 8 minutes to go here in this ball game. Take this opportunity, to invite everybody to chime in on Twitter. We got a game thread going on. Definitely feel free to interact with us as the excitement comes down to the last 8 minutes in this ball game. Looks like we've got a timeout on the field. We'll see if it's coach called or referee. As it looks like it's
a referee time. Something happened.
Timeout.
What do you expect from Romeo? Sorry, Mac. I'm not that tired, I promise. I should probably take one of those energy drinks you're trying to give me.
Here you go. Pass it on. Somebody get this man a jacket. This cold air starting to put this man to sleep.
It is a little cold up here, I'm not going to lie.
I'd like to see you survive in the woods, my man.
I'm not a hunter, man. I can tell you are with that camouflage hand warmer you got over there.
Opening day, not too far.
What do you expect from Romeo this drive? Run the football?
Got to run the football. Got to stay true to who you are. You were able to move the field last time, and there's the quick pitch out to the right side. That's champion. Fumble on the play. Still bouncing around. Chippewa Valley looks like they jumped on it, and that is not what I expected to see from Romeo. Chapsky coughs up the ball after picking up 11 yards on the run, and a turnover could prove to be costly, as Chippewa Valley is going to take over with their best field position of the night. 1st and 10 on Romeo's 37-yard line.
I mean, this is like, I'm just so anxious to see how Romeo responds to this, because literally, I don't know if I've seen different, change of emotion so quickly. I mean, you score a touchdown to go up, right, in the Mac Red Championship game. The very next play, they return a kickoff 90 yards for a touchdown. And then your very next play, you fumble the football. So it's really, we're going to see how resilient this team is, because they're obviously not out of the game, but that's two devastating plays that you got to overcome here somehow.
Just goes to show how important special teams is and how it can flip momentum. And you can feel the buzz in the atmosphere.
Just switch like crazy, didn't it?
Big time, as Chippewa Valley fans starting to come alive. Kolka's going to take a shot deep. Play action. Got a man over the middle. Once again, overthrows his receiver. That was Anderson, trying to connect in the end zone, the 6'2 receiver. And again, same thing we just saw from Romeo the last time. It looked like he bent that route towards the middle of the field, and Kolka was trying to stretch it deep. stay on that hash mark into the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like he had two receivers a little bit too close to each other. I don't know if that was by design, but, it could have been two like little posts, but they got a little bit too close together. But yeah, just overthrew him by a little bit.
Second down and 10 situation. Ball on Romeo, 37-yard line. Here's the blitz. Give to Harris up the middle.
Fumble.
As Romeo's
ball.
Got the ball now.
There you go. What I tell you, man.
They do.
God, you don't expect Myron Harris to fumble the ball, do you?
Wow. No, we don't. I'm shocked at this point. Back-to-back fumbles as
that was a fumble for
the
sure.
wind seems like it just came completely out of the sails of this Chippewa sideline, and all that noise you're hearing is coming across from the field. So again, as quick as special teams can change the momentum in a game, so can a defensive turnover, and Romeo's now got two of them.
Speaks to the character of that team to be able to come back. I thought that he was going to break that tackle. He had him by the jersey, and then somebody came in and knocked it out because Myron Harris doesn't fumble the football that often. So great defensive play from Romeo.
Jet sweep. There's the inside counter to Chapsky. Chapsky brought down, but again, a pickup of 4 or 5 yards. He's getting to the second level on that inside counter, and I mean, if you're going to tell me 5-6 yards on that play, wind it up and run it again.
Yeah, all game they've been doing it. Like I mentioned, it's they're able to control the line of scrimmage. Their deception, but that plays went for about 20 or 30. The both times they ran it, and that time it was open, but Chippewa had a guy there to make a play.
Romeo down 4, 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 5, ball on their own 37-yard line. Jet motion to the left, give to Chapsky. Chapsky working the left side. Check that.
It's number 18.
Raciti on the carry.
On the carry for the Bulldogs, number 18.
Good defense on Chippewa Valley's part. Stayed disciplined, stayed in their lanes, made the play.
Again, Romeo having a tough time getting to that edge on that jet sweep, but staying true to it because it opens up that inside counter, and when they run that, it's been successful.
Yep.
3rd down and 5 situation for the Bulldogs. Big play, down 4, 6.5 minutes to go. Both of these stands on their feet making noise. Miller under center.
Except the play action here, Mac.
Unbalanced to the right side. 2 in the backfield. Give to Chapsky on the power lead. Chippewa defense coming up big this time. Nothing doing. Pick up of around a half yard.
Chapsky, the ball carrier. And on the tackle, number 62.
Yeah, again, run the ball on 3rd and 5. We're not able to get it. Last time we saw a fake punt, I would expect Chippewa Valley not to be fooled by that again. So Chippewa Valley will probably get the ball back here, and Romeo will have to make another big stop as we're winding down. I mean, there's only about 5 minutes 45 seconds to play. So
nobody back deep for Chippewa.
I wouldn't. May have a guy back deep, and they're going to put him back now. But
as Miles starts to drop back,
but they're in a defensive formation.
There's the snap. It's good. The punt is away.
You got to catch that or get out of the way, buddy.
Line drive, fair catch called. And I don't know if that wind was playing any sort of factor, but Miles Harris looked like he had a tough time looking that one in. Looked like an outfielder who got crossed up on his own feet trying to track that one down, and he's lucky he brought that one in because Romeo was giving chase quickly.
I could see it when it was in the air that ball was going to get kind of caught up, and he was stumbling up, and anytime a returner falls while he catches it, that's a scary scenario because that could have been bad. They had him originally, like you mentioned, they had nobody back, and to me, you got to make a decision. That's a field position catch there because the ball could bounce 20 yards. But there's also a big opportunity from the fumble, too,
But instead, it'll be Chippewa Valley 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line, up 4. Give to Harris, cuts back inside, got a seam, pick up a 6 or 7 yards, finally brought down by the linebacking core of Romeo.
Shows the confidence Coach Merchant has in his running back after he fumbles, give him the ball. I mean, obviously this is the NFL, so you don't have a million people to go to, but that really bothers me when coaches do that. Fumbling is a part of the game. If it's a huge problem and somebody's carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, understandable. But as a running back, people are going to put a helmet on the ball. Certain things are going to happen. You got to show your running back you got confidence in them even after a fumble.
Chippewa Valley in no hurry to get this play off. 2nd down and 3 situation coming up on 4.5 minutes. Once again, back to Harris, jumps over the defensive lineman and extends that play out to the 38-yard line. We'll see the spot. just outside of the 38-yard line, enough to move the chains. First down, Chippewa Valley, and you can see Harris starting to feel it, and that playmaker wants the ball in this game-time situation, like you had mentioned. Fumbled the ball in the last drive, coughed it up, but went right back to him, able to pick up a first down, and that man's confidence is right backing at him.
Yeah, you're going to see a steady dose of him the rest of the game, and they're going to try to work the clock. And where they're at right now, even if they got a punt, Romeo's going to have to go 80, 90 yards to win. So that's that's what you're going to do as a coordinator, run the football.
Shotgun formation. Harris set to the right side of Kulka. 2 on the short side of the field. There's the give to Harris. He's going to be bottled up in the backfield. But
he leaned forward and still got yards on that. He was literally tackled, or they made contact with him 3 to 4 yards
behind the line of scrimmage, out of blitz.
As soon as he got the ball, the guy hit him
and lunged his body forward and powered his way for a 1-yard pickup. Yeah. Impressive. We've seen it all from Harris tonight. We've seen power. We've seen agility. We've seen speed. Unbelievable.
Yep, and that was a great play on the Romeo's guy. He, did a little defensive line move, got around the tackle, I think, and then was able to get in there. And I mean, even though Harris got a yard, that's a good stop with Harris only getting 1 yard. Now Romeo's using their timeouts, 3:55. Essentially, a first down could pretty much spell the end of the game, right?
So Romeo electing to use that timeout, like you had mentioned. So they're putting all their chips into this drive here. We're under 4 minutes to go here at Big Red Stadium. Chippewa with a 21-17 lead with the MAC Red title on the line. And hey, this is what MAC Red seasons come down to. This is what Macomb Area Conference football comes down to. You're going to see it in a lot of championship games around the league tonight, which, by the way, we'll bring you all the scores that we can live on our website following this one, as well as our Facebook page and Twitter at Mac Preps. So make sure you follow us on both of our platforms as the Big Reds break their huddle and come back to the field with a 2nd down and 9 situation. The Bulldog faithful trying to will their team to a stop here.
We're going to go Harris off tackle here.
Harris set to the right side of Kulka. Kulka give to Harris, working the left side. Nothing doing, brought down behind the line of scrimmage this time. Back to the 38-yard line. And that final timeout used by Romeo, that'll set up a 3rd down and 10 situation with 3 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the ball game.
So with 3:47 to go, some people might think run it one more time, make Romeo use their last timeout. I think there's too much time left to do that.
No more called timeouts for Romeo. That was their last one.
So it's questionable. I mean, it depends on how aggressive you want to be. You could try to throw a pass here to Housley. You could try to throw a little screen pass that can. Well, even if you complete it, the clock runs.
The book's definitely going to tell you to run the ball here, but we've seen Romeo expect that in a 3rd down and long situation, and Chippewa Valley be able to pick up a first down on the ground in a passing situation. So again, when you've got athletes like Chippewa Valley, nothing is out of play. But the fact of the matter is, it's a 3rd down and 9 situation, and a huge play for the Romeo Bulldog defense coming up right now.
Yeah, if I'm Romeo on offense, I'm running the football. If I'm Chippewa with my receiving core, first down wins me the game. I'm going to give it a shot. If not, punt him deep, and Romeo has no timeouts. We'll see how Coach Merchant attacks it right now. You can also throw an interception if you pass it too. So there's a lot of risk,
Tight bunch as Coach Merchant's going to call his first timeout, little cat and mouse game. He's set up with the tight bunch formation to see how the Romeo defense would adjust to it. And Coach Merchant elects to call his first time out of the second half. So we are right where we are at just moments ago with 3:47 left in the ball game. Chippewa 21, Romeo 17 with the MAC Red title on the line.
I think how I would attack it is I would get the ball. I would throw a pass that I know I can complete, right, and make it be an extension of the run. So whether it be a screen pass to Harris where if it doesn't work, clock's still going to continue to run, or a bubble screen to, Q Housley or some of the other talented receivers. Make sure the ball doesn't hit the ground so the clock continues to run, but give yourself a chance to ice the game with a first down. What do you think, Mac?
I like it. I mean, in games like this, when you got an opportunity to be aggressive and put it away, I support that philosophy. How many times do you see coaches play it safe and put the pressure on the defense? But you can be aggressive here and put, and end it at the same time. We'll see what happens.
I think if there was we'll wait for the call here.
There's that tight formation for Chippewa. Harris set to the left side. Kulka drops back. He's trying to set up a screen pass. He's going to be sacked. in the backfield by that Romeo defense. Huge play by the Bulldogs. They're going to force a punt situation as that ball will be spotted back at the 36-yard line, so a loss of 4 on the play. Almost looked like they were waiting for a screen pass to develop on that one with the way Kulka dropped back. But again, he had receivers downfield. Either way, that Romeo defense did not give him time to find who he was looking for.
Yeah, I think Coach Merchant went aggressive. I think he was going to try to throw the ball deep, and it actually ended up working out to an extent because they didn't throw an incomplete pass, so the clock ran anyway, and they're punting just 4 yards further back. But it could have been very dangerous because that could have been a fumble. That could have been a lot of things there in the backfield. He's got to get this off.
High punt. Just barely gets it away. Fair catch being called back at the 34-yard line by Nino Braza, the junior wide receiver. That's where the Romeo Bulldogs are going to take over 1st and 10 at their own 35. 2 minutes, 53 seconds to go, down 4. No timeouts for the Bulldogs.
I think you're going to have to see the Bulldogs throw the ball a little bit on this drive, huh?
They better pick and choose their areas because they are definitely a run-heavy team, and they've been having trouble finding that receiver down the middle of the field. But again, we'll see what they do here on 1st down.
Yeah, no timeout, so it hurts you. You can run the ball if you've got some timeout.
There's that play action. There's that play again, the Statue of Liberty. There goes St. Clair. He's got room. Makes the first man miss across midfield. Finally pushed out of bounds at the 49-yard line. And Coach Merchant not happy about that one because that's a missed assignment.
They had to
have
have talked
people
about
staying
that.
home.
They had to have talked about that at halftime because they ran that play twice.
What a beautifully designed play. It looks like
it's
Miller's
so deceiving. It really is. It's deceiving even up here. And I never played defense, so I really, coming from an offensive side of it, you're setting up to do that, and there's a lot of keys you can read. But
there's that bunch formation.
That's crazy.
There's the old Harbaugh 12-man deep. Miller going shotgun after breaking the formation. 4 wide for the Bulldogs. St. Clair set to the left. Miller drops back. He's going to quickly fire over the middle. Ball tipped. Almost picked off. Intended for big number 84. That's the tight end, Ben Weber. Second time we called Weber's name. That one incomplete. 2nd down and 10 now for the Bulldogs.
You see, the problem with Romeo's passing game is they really just they're not as advanced in it as Chippewa Valley is, so really they're running one route out there, and you don't have a ton of different combinations. So it's tough as a quarterback when you really got one key you can look at, because there was 2 or 3 Chippewa Valley guys on that route, and that was the only route he had to throw, really.
Absolutely.
If I'm them, I almost stick to running the ball, right? I mean, you got 230, you're getting 10 yards a carry.
I wouldn't be opposed to going back to that Statue of Liberty play or an inside corner. There's the jet sweep to Chapsky. Chapsky cuts off flag on the play. That might be detrimental to the Bulldogs, but Chapsky walled off trying to get the edge.
Chapsky on the carry.
He was brought down just forward of the line of gains, so 2nd down and a short 10.
How did he get a false start and throw it that late? That was confusing.
Legal procedure will be the call.
Oh, man. So that puts him at what, Mac?
That'll be a 5-yard penalty.
So
short, long 14.
Now you got to throw.
You want to call it a 2nd and 14 or a 2nd and 15?
That clock's running too. You got to throw the football here. They got twins to the right. Twin split looks like, so they got 3 wideouts in the formation.
Shotgun for Miller. There's your jet motion. Chapsky to the right. Miller drops back to pass. Looking over the middle.
Oh, what a play.
Broken up nicely there by the defensive back. That was number 1, Draven Wilson, coming in to break that one up. And the junior broke quickly on that ball.
They're really on those routes. As you can see, they're jumping the routes. I think that's part of Chippewa Valley's strength is their secondary. They've had to stop the run all game long. So.
Well, you've brought it up a couple of times, but with the play action and with the way they roll that pocket, those receivers are running that route all one direction, so you take away half the field when you do that.
Yep.
That's what happens when you're a run-heavy team. 3rd down and long for the Bulldogs. Miller, there's that Statue of Liberty play again. St. Clair trying to work his way to the outside. Better defended this time by the Big Reds. Pushed out of bounds late. No flag on the play. Number 21's got to be careful.
He held it back a little bit, but it was close.
It was. That was
he knew it was. Yeah, he knew it was.
He did pull off on it. It was probably a good thing.
Well, he knew it was close to being a call,
Lost his lid on that one, giving up a 1st down on a personal foul play.
4th and 10.
But
this is the game,
it'll be a 4th down and 10 situation. Chippewa Valley fans getting loud. 2 minutes and 2 to go. Romeo down 4. No timeouts, so they got to convert here.
Watch for the tight end or something over the middle here. That's what has been open. The tight end running a little seam route up the middle.
You've got Braza split wide to the top side. Miller rolls out, looking deep, got a man. Overthrows him. No flag.
Wow.
As Chippewa Valley well defended.
That was a good ball.
It was. Would have liked to see a little bit more touch out of that one.
A little air,
Miller's obviously got a cannon, but on that sort of play, you got to get the ball up in the air and allow your receiver to try and make a play over a defensive back. But the shotgun of, the cannon out of Miller there, he let it sail.
I'm not a mathematician here, but can they just kneel this out, Mac, or how does this
Chippewa
work?
Valley should be able to kneel it out. 1:55 to go, 40-second play clocks at the high school level. No timeouts for the Bulldogs, and it's looking like Chippewa Valley is going to run their win streak to 22 straight and be your 2019 MAC Red champions as long as they finish this one clean.
And they decide to end it with a little Ice Ice Baby on the music there, huh?
Well done, Chippewa Valley. I like your style.
Timeout on the field.
Chippewa Valley going to utilize a timeout. And Coach Merchant's not going to take anything for granted here. He's going to remind his players how important it's going to be to take care of this ball and protect his quarterback, and also let this referee know, hey, we're kneeling this bad boy out. Let's make sure we protect our guys and get out of here clean, as Chippewa Valley is looking to go to 8-0 for a second time in a row. I tell you what, Kent, what they're doing over here at the Valley has been quite impressive the last couple of years. Hats off to Chippewa Valley and his squad. It's been impressive to watch these guys over the last 2 years, and especially on a senior night for the Big Reds. This is a special night for Chippewa Valley.
Yeah, 22 straight wins. I don't care what conference you're playing, and let alone the MAC Red, and then playing teams like Saline and some other powerhouses around other conferences, and being able to win 22 straight games is extremely impressive. Coach Merchant obviously runs a heck of a program, but hats off to Romeo too. I mean, they played this game very well. They were in it. If it wasn't for a kick return for a touchdown, who knows? They might have came out with a victory.
Unbelievable. That kick return was something else. And I tell you, special teams has been so key in this successful run that Chippewa Valley's had over 2 years. Anybody who's been a part of Macomb Preps and has covered this team over the last couple of years has seen a kickoff return. It's just been so impressive what they're doing over here. As we reach the minute 20 mark, Kulka looking over at the sideline as the referee starts to wind down the last 5 seconds. There's the snap. Kulka drops to a knee with just over 1 minute to go. So one more kneel down's going to do it, as these Chippewa Valley players are starting to feel it and starting to hug it out. As a MAC Red championship is just under a minute away, we want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsor, D&H Window Cleaning, residential and commercial services in Macomb County and the surrounding areas, locally owned. The Young family is celebrating 50 years of business. Give them a call, 586-726-2340. As Kulka, hands under center, 35 seconds to go. There's the snap, there's the kneel down. That's going to do it. Arms go up into the air. Chippewa Valley, your 2019 MAC Red Division champions, will move to 8-0 on the year. Romeo will fall to 6-2 on the year. Still impressive so far for the Bulldogs. An impressive showing for the Bulldogs tonight, as they're going to fall short. 21-17 is the final 10 seconds in this one, as the fans start to count this one down. These two teams meeting at center field, midfield, showing their respects.
A little baseball in there, Matt.
I
like
baseball.
it.
Hey,
I like it.
We're not too far away from spring sports, in my opinion, as fast as this is going. It's cold. We're on our way to winter sports. Before we know it, it'll be springtime.
There you
go. That'll do it. Chippewa Valley 21, Romeo 17. Kent, what's your thought on this one as we wrap up our coverage of our Week 8 game of the week?
two great football teams. I think Romeo actually played them even. Chippewa Valley just made bigger plays. The punt return kick return for a touchdown. Harris, making just athletic runs that you guys, anyone tuning in right now, you got to check out the video on YouTube, watch these plays. It was absolutely fantastic, and you just got to check them out. But yeah, man, I don't know. Do you agree with me? If these two teams played again in the playoffs, I'd have it as a coin flip. I mean,
if these
even.
two teams played again in the playoffs, I promise you I'll be here, and I promise you I'll be watching it. We talked about it at the beginning of the game, and honestly, you hit it right on the head, Kent. Romeo did exactly what they needed to do to win this ball game. They forced 2 turnovers against a very disciplined and well put together Chippewa Valley offense that's been just rolling the last 2 years. They forced 2 turnovers. They forced Chippewa Valley off the field many a times, but when it comes down to it, Chippewa Valley with their big plays, able to strike on a 3rd down and long on a 63-yard score. They returned a kickoff to the house for 90 yards. So what it came down to is Chippewa Valley's athleticism and their big plays was just too much for Romeo to overcome. But again, Romeo did everything they needed to do to put together the right recipe to beat Chippewa Valley. They just came up short by 4 points because of special teams.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these two teams make a long run, end up in the state championship, and on a colder day later on in the year, might play towards Romeo's advantage. Who knows if they meet up again? But I'll tell you what, 22 straight wins, I've said it a few times, is just unbelievable. I mean, being our age, we've seen, teams like Eisenhower in the early 2000s, Stevenson in the 90s, Dakota really in the middle of 2000s, into 2013, whatever. Yeah, but you've seen those teams with runs, and I don't think any of them won 22 straight games. Actually, I know they didn't. Dakota might have with the state championship, but I know Eisenhower and Stevenson never did. So just hats off to Coach Merchant, and the Chippewa Valley players, because it's a heck of an achievement to win that many games in a row in this kind of conference.
We do want to take this opportunity to send a big special thank you to Chippewa Valley High School, their athletic director Chad Hoddle, and the rest of the athletic staff for welcoming us in and allowing us to be in their press box and provide this live audio coverage of our Week 8 game of the week. It's been a fun one. It was exactly everything that we expected. It lived up to the hype. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. For Macomb Prep's Game of the Week coverage, I'm Jerry Mack alongside Kent Fiat, Trey Mack in the camera well. Getting down. We'll be back next week. Make sure you follow us on our social media accounts. We'll let you know where we're going to be. And as we sign off one last time, Chippewa Valley, your 2019 MAC Red Division champions, as they beat the Romeo Bulldogs by a final of 21-17 right here at Big Red Stadium. We'll see you next week.
Have been lost to cancer, and to all those that are surviving cancer, we will never give up. We will continue to fight. Introducing number 1, Draven Wilson, Yadari Audrey Burlingame. Number 2, Cardi Johnson, Crystal Jones.